It is 10 o'clock. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Another blockbuster trade today in the NBA as the Hornets are sending star guard LaMelo Ball to the Timberwolves along with Josh Reed in exchange for Naz Reid and a series of draft picks, including a 2033 unprotected first-rounder and multiple pick swaps. More Tennessee Vols heard their names called last night in the NBA draft's second round. Jacoby Gillespie going 42 overall to San Antonio. Felix Okpara going 46 to the Wizards. The Nashville Predators made a big move Wednesday, sending two former first-rounders to Colorado in Fedor Svechkov and Zachary LaRue in exchange for Jack Drury and Chase Bradley and a 2029 third-rounder. The Preds have the number 10 pick in the NHL draft this weekend. The U.S. men's national team will close out group stage play in the World Cup tonight against Turkey in Los Angeles. The U.S. has already won the group, and Turkey is already eliminated, so it will have no bearing on the knockout rounds. Christian Pulisic said yesterday he does expect to be available as he comes off a calf injury. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Good morning. Welcome in. Happy Thursday. Happy U.S. men's national team game day tonight against Turkey to finish out group stage play. We are glad to have you with us until 1 o'clock. We are, as always, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Lucas and Bert with you until 1. Another day without Buck, which we're happy about. Hope you'll join us on 104.5 The Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can jump in and hang out. What a day yesterday, man. We got to hang out at the brand new Hattie B's location in East Nashville. Incredible spot. We'll be spending a lot of time there in that open event space, sort of hangar to watch games, big screens, hot chicken, cold beers. Great vibes at Hattie B's yesterday. And then straight into 3HL's karaoke night at Greenlight Bar. Robert, I felt it was a smashing success last night. Everybody got up there. Nobody could escape. And some people really shone through last night in maybe some unexpected ways.
Oh, dude, I was so impressed. I got to give Will Bowling props.
Yep.
He was probably MVP last night. He performed Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon.
Yep.
It was exceptional. I felt like I was in a grimy jazz club. It was awesome.
It was a good Sinatra impression. And I missed it, but I heard it was a good Sinatra impression.
It was very, very good. And then he did Wipe Me Down with Slay.
Yes,
and
this I did not miss.
It was electric.
And it kind of closed us out too, right? I mean, it was kind of the...
Well, besides you.
Yeah.
You were forced to get up there. And I thought you were going to go something that was a little easier. I was kind of surprised by how quickly, when you were pressed, you went, Kendrick Lamar, King Kunta, please.
Well, I was taken aback at how quickly, upon saying that, the karaoke master, whatever they're called, he had that. It was like he had that thing queued up. Like the words Kendrick Lamar barely came out of my mouth before we heard, I got a bone to pick. It was like, oh, here we go. All right, let's go. Let's jump in.
I'm dying, dude. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm on like little baby giraffe legs today. I'm just wobbling in the wind.
I will say shout out to the people at Greenlight Bar. What a karaoke spot. Their catalog is insane. I was stunned. I almost half jokingly said King Kunta by Kendrick Lamar. And he had that thing ready to roll. So awesome stuff. If not for that, I probably would have gone with ABBA would have been, anything ABBA, I feel like, is a smash on karaoke nights.
Which is a palindrome.
Yes, that is a palindrome.
Yes.
What was it yesterday that I think we were looking at Malik Neighbors' touchdown? Or who was it?
It was Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts touchdown
he had
stats?
scored one touchdown.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A palindrome. No,
palindrome.
Those are just numbers in order. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Great time at karaoke night last night. Hope you guys will join us to keep those vibes going July 16th at the Split Happens Bowling Bash out at Eastside Bowl. Go to 1045thezone.com. Buck, Bert, myself will be there. Folks from the station, special guests, friends, $40 for 3 hours of bowling. That includes shoes. It's going to be a great time. We've got a bunch of lanes. And if you haven't been to Eastside Bowl down in Madison, It's an awesome spot, plenty of parking, a ton of space, retro-style bowling alley, also with sort of this modern edge, a full bar, full menu, billiards, arcade. Going to be a party. July 16th, Thursday, July 16th. Again, 1045thezone.com. If you're watching on 1045 The Zone TV, you can also scan the QR code that will be on your break screen when we go to commercial. Okay, again, a newsy sports summer continues. We've got another blockbuster trade in the NBA as the draft concluded yesterday with the second round. By the way, huge shout out and congratulations to a couple more Tennessee Vols that heard their names called. Jacoby Gillespie headed to San Antonio at 42 overall, and Felix Okpara, the Vols' big man, headed to the Washington Wizards at 46 overall. So congratulations to both of them. Of course, Nate Ament headlined that class from a Tennessee perspective, going 13 to the Milwaukee Bucks. So LaMelo Ball is headed to Minnesota to pair up with Anthony Edwards in that backcourt. The Timberwolves get LaMelo Ball and Josh Reed. Charlotte gets Naz Reid along with, and this is where it gets insane, a 2033 unprotected first-round draft pick, 3 second-round picks, 2029, 2032, and 2033, and they swap 3 first-rounders in 2028, 2029, and 2030. Now, this is rinse and repeat every NBA offseason. Like, the NBA fans in the audience are probably sick of us when this time of year comes around because we just parachute in and we point and we say, look how insane NBA trades are. But I don't care, Robert. Let's do that again because it is still insane to me for a general manager to strike a deal that includes his organization getting a pick that he's not going to be able to use for 7 years. How many NBA GMs are still going to be in their same position? How many NBA head coaches are going to be in their same position in 7 years? 2033. I don't know where any of us are going to be in 2033. Insane. We got the World Cup going on. We will be almost at, not the next World Cup, but the World Cup after that in Saudi Arabia in 2033. And that is the deal that was struck today between the T-Wolves and Hornets.
What do you think you'll be doing in 2033?
7 years from now, let's see, I'll be 37.
You'll be married.
I'll be married.
You think you'll have children by then?
I'll probably have children
We
by
should
then.
time capsule this right now. You make a prediction, and you will save it.
Okay. I will be married. We will have at least one child.
Oh, come on, dude. The over-under set at like 2.5.
All right, at least 5 children.
Yes.
Megan wants to name, if we have a son, she wants to name him Aryton. What do you think about that?
Arrington?
A-R-Y-T-O-N.
Oh, I would make fun of that kid. I'm sorry, Meg.
That's what I that's what I tell her. And it would be named after Ayrton Senna, the great former Brazilian F1 driver that tragically passed away during a race in the 90s.
She wants to name it this, or you want to name it
No,
this?
she wants to name. She loves the name Ayrton. And Ayrton Senna, icon of racing, icon of just Brazilian sports and Brazilian culture.
It could be a middle name.
Yeah. I think, I worry about how that would get butchered in classrooms and stuff.
Arrington? Is there an Arrington in here? Raise your hand.
I don't know. Where do you think you'll be in 2033?
Probably dead. I don't know. 7 years from now, I'll probably own like a barrel factory or something. 7 years from now, I think I'll be doing something weird, like underwater basket weaving, anything along, own a concrete plant. I don't know. Probably be a Gotham villain. I mean, at this point, my life has just been a whirlwind up to this point. Or I could just be a bum. Who knows? Working back at home on a farm.
615-737-1045. What do you guys think Robert will be doing in 7 years? Speaking of trades, the Nashville Predators, first big move of the Chris McFarland era as the Preds send a couple former first-rounders in Zach LaRue and Fedor Svechkov to Colorado. McFarland dealing with his old team. The Preds get forward Jack Drury, who last season had 10 goals, 17 assists for Colorado, Chase Bradley, and Colorado's 2029 third-rounder. So LaRue and Svechkov, both 2021 first-rounders. And it struck me, looking at this trade, and it's different, the NHL draft and the NFL draft. We understand this. But as much as we talk about how bad that Titan stretch was in first-round draft picks, looking back at the Preds lineup of first-round draft picks over the years is bleak, man. Like, you look back and try to figure out when's the last time the Preds got a legitimate high-level impact from a first-round draft pick, and you just keep scrolling. Like, Dante Fabro was a good player for this team for a number of years. Kevin Fiala was a factor, certainly, was a spark in helping get the team to the Stanley Cup final, now playing his trade in L.A. Seth Jones, back in 2014, has had a really nice career. Jury's still out on Brady Martin. Kind of needs to be the prince that was promised for the Preds. But as much criticism as the Titans get, and there's such a bigger spotlight on the NFL draft, and you need more instant impact from NFL draft players, get all of that. But Preds have not covered themselves in glory with those first-round draft picks. So we'll see what they do with the number 10 pick in this weekend's NHL draft. Jury's still out on a few of the Titans' recent first-rounders, right? Peter Skoronski's a good player. J.C. Latham, big year for him. Cam Ward, Cardell Tate, early returns are encouraging. Tiny sample size. But it does get overlooked, I feel like, just how poor the Preds have been in drafting in the first round.
Is that a common thing in the NHL? Like, I know that like their draft isn't like the NFL draft where you can get good value. Like, a lot of the top players go off in the first couple picks, and then after that, you're really looking at developmental options. Is that as much of a black eye for the Preds as that would be for like the Titans? Previous recent string of poor first-round picks? Like, what would you say had been more tumultuous comparatively?
Titans, just because there's so much more of a spotlight. There's so much more pressure on those kids to contribute immediately, right? Within 2 to 3 years, as you talk about the possibility of a second contract where, you drafted player in the first round of the NHL draft. You hope you get something out of him in the coming years, unless it's a Connor Bedard who's going to be on the ice immediately for the Blackhawks at the age of 18. But I do feel like it's an underrated thing. Paul on the F&M Bank chat says, Bert will be in jail, and I'll still be here. Buck will be fired in 7 years. Stoney says he will be 400 pounds, bald, asking people for money outside of the Donaldson Waffle House with a little bit of mud on his shirt.
Nah, we'll be right there together, buddy. We'll be building a mud hut together. We'll be living underneath a bridge.
I disagree. I think Stoney's going to be ruling Nashville sports radio at that point.
Either that or he will have random candle fragrances that take off, and he will just be what is it for wine? He will be a candle sommelier for people, for the stars.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Oh, what a gig that would be. Stoney, a candle aficionado.
Oh, man, I can't wait for his he's been on vacation doing some Yankee Candle reviews. I don't give a rip about candles. If you look at me, I'm not somebody that really cares about what they smell like, but I do love Stoney being romantic about something like a candle, It's just good stuff.
It is a U.S. men's national team game day. Robert, are you hype?
Am I hype? It ain't Thanksgiving, but we're eating turkey today, baby. Come on! What time do we play these turkeys? What's their best player?
Oh, I'll give the nod to Arda Güler, Real Madrid
Sucks.
forward. Kenan Yildiz.
Sucks!
Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
Sucks!
9 p.m. tonight, the United States, who has already...
Oh, that's not his name.
Easy.
I thought you were saying another name.
Whoa.
9 p.m. tonight. It's
9 p.m. kickoff.
No, I thought that was one of their names. 9 p.m. tonight. I don't know what they name their kids.
9 p.m. Central Time tonight, the United States, who already have the group clinched. They have won Group D in this World Cup. And Turkey, as they are known, have already been eliminated. And they're one of the flops of the tournament. But it's a World Cup game nonetheless. It's something that comes around every 4 years, and you only get so many opportunities to see your country play in it. So we'll be out there tonight at Geodis Park, another soccer celebration in the Publix Plaza right outside of the stadium. Totally free to the public. There will be food there. Hattie B's was there at the last one. Tons of great food, beer vendors, games, some concessions inside the concourse will be open. And, man, last time we had like 5,000 people turn up for the Paraguay game in that World Cup opener. The vibe was electric. These are the games you want to watch with your fellow Americans, with your fellow fans. So come out tonight. Will and I will be out there emceeing the event. Can't wait. We'll be doing giveaways, trivia. Huge screen out there on the Publix Plaza. Hope we see you guys out there tonight for USA versus Turkey. Let's preview the matchup a little bit for our guy, Jamie Watson, who's been on the call for some of these matchups on the FIFA World Feed, and he joins us coming up next. They don't come around that often. No stakes for the knockout rounds doesn't matter. The United States are champions of Group D. Turkey are going home after tonight, but it is a World Cup game day for the U.S. men's national team, trying to keep up the momentum from an electric start to this thing, outscoring Paraguay and Australia a combined 6-1 to start the group stage. We know the U.S. will be in the round of 32. We know they will likely be facing Bosnia and Herzegovina. But for tonight, it is about keeping it going against Turkey. And someone that has called multiple World Cup matches, somebody that Nashville fans, certainly Nashville SC fans will know. Our guy Jamie Watson joins us on 104.5 The Zone, calling games for the FIFA World Feed in this tournament. You can hear him on Apple TV as well, calling games nationally in the U.S. throughout the course of the last few years. Jamie, how's it going, man? Good to talk to you.
Lucas, you didn't say my greatest achievement, and that is basically the guy that can get you coffee like nobody else when I get to sit next to you in a broadcast chair. So that's my greatest achievement. All the other ones, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. But I'm happy to be on here with you, brother. It is great to be on here. You're doing a great job hosting, man. So thanks for having me on.
No, appreciate you coming on. Unfortunately, the coffee is the best memory we have of that U.S.-Switzerland game that we got to do last year on Westwood
And
One.
that good T-shirt you're wearing there, too. Actually, I'm just glad I didn't wear mine because I definitely have it with me.
No doubt. I mean, think about where the vibes were a year ago with this team, Jamie, when we were going into that game, prepping for that game, and where they are now with how this team has burst onto the scene. Mauricio Pochettino deserves a ton of credit, obviously. It's almost like he's had his hand up this whole time with U.S. fans pulling their hair out about lineup decisions and tinkering with the shape, and he's just said, I've got it. I've got it. And here they are. They look like a conjoined group. They look together, and they're playing maybe the most attractive style of soccer we've ever seen from a men's team.
I couldn't agree with you more. And maybe that's the sign of a really good coach, that the focus had been on him and what he was going to do with the group and what decisions he was going to make, instead of being on the players when they were struggling and on this roller coaster ride. They were at the bottom of the roller coaster when we saw them a year ago, this time against Switzerland, who just won their group. And Lucas, we walked away both thinking this group is a million miles away from competing next summer in the World Cup after that 4-0 loss at Geodis Park. And to see the evolution over the next 12 months really goes to show you that the beauty of sports is we don't get to see what happens behind closed doors. And I think what was happening behind closed doors was this progression and belief within the group and this camaraderie that's ultimately been their biggest X factor during this tournament, the togetherness that they have shown, to go with the skill, obviously. But we didn't get to always see that. And the focus for the longest time was, how is this group going to do? Well, they've handled every test so far, but these tests are going to get progressively harder. So I don't think the goalposts have shifted on expectations. I still think the round of 16 is the bare minimum and barometer of success. But yeah, belief is definitely higher amongst you, me, everybody that's listening, everybody that's watching online, everybody that's watched the U.S. men's national team play. There is a belief that this group can do more and maybe has a higher ceiling than we've ever seen at the Men's World Cup.
Jamie Watson is our guest. You can follow him on Twitter at JamieWatson77. Has been on the call for a few of these matches on the FIFA World Feed. So tonight, Turkey, we know the circumstances. The U.S. are in the round of 32. They win Group D no matter what. Turkey, honestly, Jamie, one of the flops of the tournament, right? Incredibly disappointing through 2 games. They're already eliminated from this thing. The discussion is who should play, who shouldn't. Where are you right now, and how Mauricio Pochettino should approach this from a rest versus rust standpoint?
Well, what a gift it is for the United States also to be in a position where they qualified, winning their group after 2 games. So there is no pressure to be able to play anybody that is on a potential yellow card or anybody that's nursing anything. So Christian Pulisic, he'd be wrapped up in bubble wrap on the second row of the bench. So that way nothing could even, no soccer ball could hit him on the bench, anything like that. I would absolutely baby the hell out of anybody that has got any sort of injuries, because you don't need to play those players tonight. You need to make sure that they are ready for the round of 32, as you astutely mentioned a moment ago, potentially against Bosnia Herzegovina, which would be a physical battle, be very difficult for the United States men's national team. I think you keep the core of the group continuity-wise in there, and then from there you make any changes that you need to. If anybody says, I'm feeling something, tonight's not the night to try to be a hero and push through it, because this is hopefully for the United States a marathon, not a sprint. They sprinted out of the gates faster than everybody, and they can't be caught, before they get to the finish line of this group. And that's their reward, is their ability to rest tonight. So that's my belief. Lucas, I'll put it back on you since you're an elite soccer mind here. Would you play the full group Would you make massive changes, or would you fall somewhere in the middle of that?
Using elite quite loosely there, but no, you will have a better perspective on this than me, but myself as a U.S. fan, I would like to see Christian Pulisic for 15 to 20 minutes in this game, and I have a certain level of confidence that Turkey are not going to have a Paraguay or Australia or even Bosnia approach in the knockout rounds. I don't think they're going to be trying to gain the edge by being physical and fouling U.S. players and kicking Christian Pulisic in the calf over and over. I do feel this Turkey team is one that wants the ball and is going to want to play their style and go out on a good note. So I don't know that the risk is terribly big for Christian Pulisic to re-aggravate the calf specifically in this game. Obviously, there's a level of risk if he plays. I would like to see him for a few minutes tonight, Jamie, because by the time the round of 32 comes around, we will have been talking about, if he doesn't play tonight, almost 3 weeks of no action. But maybe I am overemphasizing any sort of, cool-off period that could be and what it could mean for Christian. Maybe that's a non-factor. You would know better than me, having played professionally in this game.
Yeah, I mean, look, and this is the best thing about the situation, right? You could talk me into it playing Pulisic, you could talk me out of it, and this is the one position I don't envy is of the coach and Mauricio Pochettino, that he's got to make this decision about his team's arguably best player and the face of the entire U.S. men's national team soccer program. I mean, it is such a big decision, because if he doesn't play him, then he does look rusty in the round of 32. Then same thing you're saying, right? He didn't play for a couple of weeks. How could we expect anything differently? If he comes in and he plays those 15 minutes and all of a sudden he goes for a sprint in a meaningless game and he pulls it even further and he's out for another 2 weeks, now we got to answer the question of why did you play him during this? So it is an interesting situation that we don't know the full scope of it. I don't think we knew the full scope of it initially when the reports were coming out after the first game. He's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. And then he was a scratch for the second game when it wasn't locked up with a group. I don't know. My senses were up that maybe this was a little bit worse than what we were led to believe. And now it's just like, how can you just get him across the finish line? Like any players think in their mind, I just got to be able to compete in the World Cup when it matters the most. And then after that, I don't care how long I'm injured for on the back end of that. That's future me's problem to deal with.
Jamie Watson, our guest on 104.5 The Zone. So U.S. fans that are parachuting in are just jumping along for this awesome ride so far. Obviously, they know who Christian Pulisic is and his impact. They are learning who Fuller and Balogun is up top with the start to this tournament that he's had. But who else do you think has caught the eye of U.S. fans that aren't as intimately familiar with this team? Who else do you feel deserves that shine, even if they're not taking players on and scoring the goals, in terms of what Christian Pulisic and Fuller and Balogun are doing? Who are we not talking about enough in this run?
Yeah, Lucas, when we got a chance to see the U.S. men's national team play and commentate on that last summer, I think we both walked away really impressed with Alex Freeman, the guy who scored at Lumen Field the second game. He was a player that developed over the last 12 months and has really got this incredible runway for a huge future. His dad, Antonio Freeman, played for the Green Bay Packers. It's a really cool story. If you don't know that, it's different football for his son than what his dad played, but an incredible talent, scored a goal. Chris Richards is a tremendous center back for the U.S. men's national team as well. Kid out of Texas, man, he is a real big star. Grew up playing for FC Dallas, and then Weston McKennie. So sort of, we've got a really solid group. I would say this, Lucas, and I'll pose this back to you. I feel like this group probably has less superstars that we can say this is the main player and this is our one and only hope. It feels more balanced in this group with players that are playing across Europe. Do you get the sense that from the listeners that you talk to and the people that you connect with that are sort of bridging their affinity to soccer through this World Cup, do you think a team that is better with less stars and goes deeper in the tournament, do you think that's better for fans to fall in love with the game? Or is it better to have a superstar and you sort of live and die by how that superstar does, but everybody knows that's our one big hope? What do you think is a better way for this U.S. to win fans?
A little bit of both, and I think this U.S. team does have a little bit of both, right? To your point, like this is a core group that is together that the way that they played in the Paraguay game, especially with Christian Pulisic as that front-facing figure that can excite fans, that can be the one that has an entire stadium holding its breath and oohing and eyeing. I do think this team has a pretty good blend of those two things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you got one or two names that are playing elsewhere around the world that you can go, yeah, this is a really good player that I can watch week in and week out when the tournament is done. But then there's also a mix of players that, you're like, hey, I don't know who this is, but I need to learn it. Or maybe they play in Major League Soccer and they come to take on Nashville SC in a couple of months' time, and I want to go see them play in person. So my hope is that the U.S. continue to win. They continue to do it in a way that's entertaining, because then it can grab fans' attention to say, when this is all said and done, I want to make sure that I go out and I see my team, if that's Nashville SC, if it's another team that comes into town, you want to see them, whatever it might be, men's side, women's side, whatever. The U.S. men's national team have a chance to be able to grab the attention of the casual fan, convert them to fans, and that's only better for this game, whether that's off the back of Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, or somebody that we're not talking about now that ends up being the talk of the town after the tournament. So it's exciting to see how it all plays out, and we're seeing that specifically with the U.S., but we're also seeing it with some of the other teams in this tournament. I don't know. Have you enjoyed watching these games? Because I find myself watching, I don't know, like Algeria versus Jordan, and I'm like, or I'm enthralled by countries that I'd struggle to find on a map, yet here I am, diehard fan for 90 minutes glued to the television. Have you felt similarly to that, Lucas?
Oh, of course. And it's rinse and repeat for me every 4 years. I hope it is for other folks that are kind of coming around to this tournament. But, I mean, for you, I don't want to keep you here, so we can finish out with this. But you've called Spain versus Cabo Verde, that incredible story that has been Cabo Verde. You've called both of Spain's games so far, Haiti versus Morocco, which was bonkers yesterday in the first half. For you, how cool has it been to be front and center and see the way fans are descending upon U.S. cities and stadiums?
Oh, it's been remarkable getting to see Cabo Verde tie Spain, and then Vozinha just become this internet sensation, went from like 45,000 Instagram followers to up to 10 to 12 million, I think, within the next 24 hours, still up to 15, by the way. Absolutely insane. Yesterday, I got a chance to see Haiti, Morocco. Haiti was one of those teams that was out of it like Turkey, and I didn't know what to expect going into the match from Haiti. They gave the most spirited, heart-filled, fearless performance that I've seen, maybe aside gives, because they thought, what do we have to lose? We're already out of the tournament. Let's just go for it. Made for one of the best halves of soccer that I've seen in a long time. It was 2-2 at half with Morocco and Haiti. Man, this tournament has been spectacular so far, and we've had all the biggest stars show up. Man, I don't know about you, but every time it's like one up the next big star, whether that's Mbappe, Messi, Haaland, Harry Kane. I'll put this back on you real quick. Who wins this when it's all said and done, after you've gotten to see every team has played 2 games so far. So who wins this tournament, Lucas, when it's all said and done?
I don't think there's a team that's more exhilarating when they're in their top gear than France, with what we've seen from them. Certainly in 2.5 games, once they kind of got going after halftime against Senegal and carrying that into Iraq. Can't wait to see them go head-to-head with Norway in that Haaland-Mbappe matchup tomorrow to close out the group stage. But this is a France team, Jamie. I think their B squad could get to a semifinal.
Couldn't agree with you more. It's going to be bad radio because I'm going to agree with you wholeheartedly. Now I'm just going to say I hope we get to see Argentina versus France in a World Cup final rematch, which last time led to the greatest World Cup final, 3-3 after regulation and 120 minutes, and it goes to penalties, and Messi lifts the trophy, cements his legacy. I'd like to see a rematch of that, but this time I agree with you. I think it would be France that would lift the trophy. If we asked Buck, do you think he would have been able to give us a team that was inside of the top 10 if he was here? Would he have been able to give us the squad?
Perhaps. He's currently in Spain as we speak, so maybe he's getting a little bit of an education over there. He'll be there for the Spain-Uruguay game later this week, which will be awesome.
Incredible, man. I hope he's having all the sangria and all the Spanish fun that you could possibly have, because that group looks like, if they play similarly to what they did in their match day 2 against Saudi Arabia, man, they looked unstoppable that day. So it'll be exciting to see how it all plays out, and I hope we get a chance to do this again, maybe in the build-up to the final, and we can sit here and say we look like geniuses when it's France versus Argentina, or if it's 2 different teams, we can say, what the heck do we know, man? Sports,
No doubt. We do deserve that Mbappe-Messi France-Argentina rematch. I'm with you on that. Jamie Watson has been our guest. You can hear him on the call for some of these FIFA World Cup World Feed broadcasts. Apple TV, at Jamie Watson 77 is where you can follow him. Good to catch up, man. We'll talk again soon.
Lucas, I'm a huge fan of you. Buck as well, the show. Listen all the time. Keep up the great work. Great to be on the show. And thanks to your awesome listeners for allowing me to be on here, man. Let's do this again soon. Great chat with you, buddy.
Yes, sir. You too, buddy. Have a good one. Jamie Watson with us on 104.5 The Zone. Great stuff there. The F&M Bank chat is popping in, Robert, and we got a question from Tiger26069 asking a question, soccer question from someone new to the sport. Why don't teams just deny Messi? He doesn't run a lot. Why can't or why don't teams just put a guy on him defensively to keep the ball off his foot? And the question was answered by Russell in the F&M Bank chat, who just rephrases the question and just says, football question, why don't teams just deny Randy Moss? Why can't you just put a guy on him defensively and keep him from catching the ball?
I don't want to talk about any of that. You have some explaining to do.
What's that?
I thought we had something special. I thought the thing that me and you have was like a friendship, a bromance, a work relationship. And then you have this guy on. I've never heard of him, never seen him. You've never said a word to me about this guy. And you guys are just, no, you're the best. No, I love you. No, I love you more. Who is she? Who is Jamie? Where did this come from? This love affair. I didn't know that I had to worry about you when you weren't at work. But obviously you're out here gallivanting the streets like a tomcat cheating on me with any who's its or what's it that wants to talk about soccer. Oh, I'm sorry you don't have everything you need at home, so you have to go look for it elsewhere.
That's right.
My feelings are hurt.
That's right.
I tried to learn this for you. I leaned into this for you. This is something you wanted. I'm not even into BDSM. I mean soccer. Look what I did for you. And here Jamie comes on. Oh, Lucas. Oh, I love you. No, I love you, Jamie.
I have needs. What can I say?
This is why you don't look me in the eye anymore? Is that what it is?
615-737-1045. Tighten up, anchor down, saying I have a soccer work wife.
I don't like that.
Jamie's just too good of a guy. He's one of those people.
Oh, no, he's more like a brother to you.
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me? Oh, he's like a brother. Stop it. Can't stand you.
No, baby, it's just a friend.
No, don't worry.
It's
Don't
just
worry.
a friend from work.
Just let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. Is that what you're doing? Rolling over in the middle of the show, texting him back?
How can I make this up to you? It's not what it looks like.
Take me to a nice dinner
Okay.
at Hattie B's.
At Hattie B's? Okay. At the new East Nashville location?
I need candles. I need it candle lit, and I need to feel special. I
Well,
need to feel wanted.
We'll order on the app. We'll bring our own. We'll BYOC. 615-737-1045. Karen says, my two daddies are fighting. Good to see you last night, Karen. Karen
was
came to hang
great
out
to
at the
see
Green Light Bar
Karen.
for karaoke night. That was a good time. Hope we see all of you guys tonight at Geodis Park. NashvilleSC.com is where you can RSVP. Otherwise, you can show up, scan a QR code, but it is totally free to the public. How will you be consuming USA Turkey tonight?
It seems like I'll be doing it alone if you and Jamie have anything to do about it. I will be consuming it the same way I've consumed every other game, with wild, blind, patriotic passion,
Yes.
screaming for every goal, pass, assist, counter press. What other terms have you taught me?
Low blocks,
Yeah,
mid blocks.
There you go. High
Yes.
blocks. Looking forward to Russell Crowe, Pachatino out there. Just
Do you think he looks like Russell Crowe?
he looks like Russell Crowe now.
Oh, by the way, did you see this incredible quote from Mauricio Pochettino about Chick-fil-A?
What'd he say?
Let me scroll up to find it. I could not find the audio. I guess I could have just watched his entire press conference. It was probably lazy by me, but this is bad radio. I'm just scrolling trying to find it, and I can't.
Well, that's good.
But
I'm glad.
He had a great quote about Chick-fil-A and how incredible it is.
Did he call
Here
it
is.
God's chicken?
Here it is from the Galazzo America Twitter account. Mauricio Pochettino's love for Chick-fil-A might be the most unexpected storyline of the U.S. men's national team's World Cup so far. We've played Pochettino audio. He is from Argentina. He speaks English. It is, a broken, heavy accent, but he does speak English. It is funny, though, to hear him speak at times about certain things, and in his Argentinian accent to say, people say Americans have no healthy food. Yes, you have healthy food, but also you have the food Chick-fil-A. It's amazing, no? This Chick-fil-A, it's magnificent.
Is that a like a non-American thing to ask a question that you know the answer to is yes and then say no?
And say, right.
This is a terrible radio show, no?
Yeah, to challenge somebody and say, basically, you agree with me, right? But putting comma no at the end. Like, what, you're going to say no?
What is that?
Yeah, it's definitely a crutch that he uses, and I do enjoy it. But no, he deserves a ton of credit for what he's done with this squad. High-profile manager. We knew all of this. Doesn't mean it wasn't a head-scratching year and a half with no stone unturned, tearing this down, building it back up. And he's got this U.S. team playing some pretty inspiring soccer through the first two games. So we'll see who is actually out there tonight, as plenty of players, I'm sure, will be sidelined. Players on yellow cards to avoid suspension in the round of 32. Players, obviously, like Christian Pulisic, that may be nursing something where you need them for the long haul to see if the U.S. can make some history in this thing.
Daryl in the Borough says, Bert, where is your USA gear? I do need USA gear. I tried to order American flag overalls, and they were hung up, ironically enough, in customs. So they will not be here for this game. Oh, you don't even make American flag overalls in the good old US of A anymore. Got to ship it in from Taiwan.
Are you serious? Is that what's happening?
Yes, I've been waiting for them. I was going to wear them last week, and they weren't here.
They can't make it into the country?
Apparently, they just keep getting hung up. I don't know. It's like, oh, your delivery is, and it's like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Incredible.
So where do you get cool USA gear? I don't want to get like Walmart fan USA gear. I'm sure you have Tennessee fans who buy all their stuff at Walmart. I want the good, high-quality stuff. Like in North Carolina, we call those Walmart fans because they didn't go to UNC. They got all their stuff from the discount rack. I want the good stuff.
Plenty of sporting goods stores. I mean, the department stores have tons of World Cup stuff, let alone USA stuff, all over the place. I think I was in a Nordstrom the other day. Saw a bunch of USA stuff.
Okay,
so
I'll check out Nordstrom. Emily says Lucas has Jamie saved in his phone under a different name.
What do you think?
Time.
What do you like? It's saved under like
Pizza Hut.
A female name?
No, I think it's Pizza Hut.
Oh, sure.
I think. Oh no, it's probably Hattie B's. It's like, oh, I love you, baby. It's like, oh, he's just texting.
He's just texting.
He's texting one of the bishops.
He's texting the bishops.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. At least you can leave me for somebody that's successful. Don't leave me for that I'm going to slander Jamie every chance I get. If you bring him on this show again, dude, I'm going to let him have it.
That would the audacity I would have to bring. I'm sure we will bring him on. That was excellent analysis from Jamie.
Yeah, he was all right.
Love the folks at Hattie B's. Love you guys. The games that we play in college football recruiting, many of you have probably seen this by now, but we have to talk about what Ohio State is trying to do in the latest chess move that they've pulled in the battle for one particular in-state recruit that Tennessee and Ohio State are both pursuing. We'll do that next. So there's no doubt college football recruiting has lost its luster, right? I think there are more fans than ever that are just checked out of it. Like, why? Why keep up with your respective team's recruiting class at this point when maybe 20% of those guys are still going to be on the team in 3 years? But there are some prospects that change those rules a little bit and are outliers. And one of those guys, without a doubt, 5-star running back David Gabriel George, DGG as he is known, from Baylor School in Chattanooga. Now, he's no stranger to this audience. He had an incredible season last year at Baylor as they won a D2 AAA state championship. He is like a mini Derrick Henry. He's incredibly fun to watch. He's just a powerhouse of a player. And Tennessee has been in hot pursuit of DGG's signature, as has Ohio State. Now, he has visited both schools very recently, and he has an announcement set for later this summer, sometime in July. I can't remember the exact date, if there is one off the top of my head. But it is Tennessee and it is Ohio State. And it's one of those things that I think Ohio State probably is slightly favored, but Tennessee fans do feel good about their chances. And everything you hear about the recruiting process is that Tennessee is very much in this thing. Well, Ohio State pulled a move over the weekend, Robert.
What kind of move?
Ohio State extended an offer to a friend and teammate of David Gabriel George at Baylor School in Chattanooga, a safety by the name of Jared Darren Gila.
Wait. So what would his acronym be?
JDD. I'm sorry, Jordan Darren Gila. I misspoke.
So it would be JDD and DGG.
Correct. There's DGG and there's JDD. Both of these guys are Canadian. They moved down from Canada to Chattanooga. They go way back. They're roommates. They're very close friends, and they're obviously teammates at Baylor School. Now, DGG, monster recruiting prospect. Everybody wants him. Again, think high school version of Derrick Henry. You know, now the actual high school version of Derrick Henry is probably the greatest running back to ever grace a high school football field, but you get what I'm saying. JDD, on the other hand, is a good player for Baylor School. He is a safety in the class of 2027. His best offers before last weekend were Georgia State, Kennesaw State, UT Martin, Dartmouth. Those are the kind of schools we're talking about. This is not a player with a full recruiting profile on 247 Sports or on 3, wherever you look. And Ohio State extended an offer to JDD over the weekend.
And do we know if that's like a scholarship offer? It's not a preferred walk-on spot. It's like a real offer.
It is a real offer. They offered his roommate and very close friend, Jordan Darren Gila, as the pursuit continues. Now, David Gabriel George.
God, this is getting ridiculous. Can we not call him David or like what?
You don't like the DGG JDD thing?
God, I know. It's like Dollar General, Junkyard Dog. Like, I don't know what the hell you're saying.
So Ohio State offers JDD.
JDD to DGG.
Obviously, to aid in their pursuit of DGG. DGG then posted on Instagram very quickly a photo of DGG and JDD.
In the foyer with the candlestick and Colonel Mustard. Like, like what?
On a football field in their uniforms for Baylor School with the caption, "Let's go, been waiting for this one, my brother." That's what he posted. He also posted something along the lines of future teammates. He posted this caption, "Let's go, my day one, neighbors to roommate to teammate?" Question mark, exclamation point. And Ohio State fans have jumped on it and said, that's it. DGG is coming to Ohio State because JDD is coming to Ohio State. There it is. He reposted it on his Instagram. Neighbors to roommates to teammate. Well, Tennessee has not offered JDD. And of course, JDD is going to take the Ohio State offer.
To go with DGG.
To potentially go with DGG and be his future teammate.
I think this whole thing is JD. Just dumb.
So these are the games that we're playing right now. That's the latest move from Ohio State. So now Tennessee, I guess the ball is in your court. But, I mean, do you, if you're Tennessee, sheepishly offer JDD now? Oh, hey, we really like you too, you know?
You know, we've always sought after talent,
yeah.
And we were just kind of waiting for everything else to shake loose.
Did you not get that? Oh, my God.
Oh, wait.
You didn't get that letter.
Oh, we sent it with Hedwig.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
It probably got caught.
We sent that thing in January. Oh, this is embarrassing. Tighten Up, Anchor Down says, sounds like BVS. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a hint of BVS. And I'm not allowing myself to totally get my hopes up that DGG is going to commit to Tennessee, because if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say 55% chance that Ohio State is the leader in the clubhouse. And now that Ohio State has offered JDD, that absolutely increases their chances of landing DGG.
Are you going to be upset if Tennessee does or doesn't? Do you have a preference on how they attack this? What would
I have no idea.
Recrucus do? Like recruiting?
This is such a hard spot for Tennessee. Like, you're looking at it like, really? Okay. All right. Now, like, what do you do? I mean, seriously, like, is it a bad look for Tennessee to swoop in after Ohio State and say, oh, well, JDD, if you want to come here, you can come here too, right? Like, if you're just going to go somewhere to hang out with DGG, you can come to Knoxville. We'll have a spot for you.
I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd get Dolly to sing a song about JDD and DGG going to Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
Come on down, you know. I think it could work.
Okay.
I think you could pull them like that. I think it would work. Like,
pretty good.
Yeah, it would be cool to be teammates, but also how cool would it be to have Dolly Parton sing about you coming to a school? Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we'll see what happens with the DGG, JDD recruitment situation. And it's interesting because Tennessee and Ohio State have clashed as recently as last year, this past recruiting class with the four-star athlete, Legend Bay, another incredible name, who, by all accounts, and certainly we know now, wanted to go to Ohio State. His family wanted him to go to Tennessee. He ends up signing with Tennessee, and ultimately he backs out. He asks to be released and to go to Ohio State. So Ohio State fans look at this and say, no, he doesn't want to go to Tennessee, just like Legend Bay doesn't want to go to Tennessee. Ohio State has absolutely gotten the better of Tennessee in recent matchups. Blowout win in the college football playoff back in 2024. The Legend Bay saga, it was very clear Legend Bay did not want to be at Tennessee. He wanted to be at Ohio State. What's that?
LB.
LB, yes. Legend Bay, better known as LB. Even with the Chaz Coleman stuff, CC, who is from Ohio and was pursued by Ohio State in the portal out of Penn State, ends up going to Tennessee, and now Ohio State fans get to sit there and say, well, thank God we didn't get that guy for the ridiculous situation that the Chaz Coleman saga has been at Tennessee, of which there is still no resolution, by the way. And I get it. It's probably a money thing, NIL situation. Things have to be sorted. But the fact that there is no official statement on whether or not Chaz Coleman is a part of Tennessee's roster is crazy to me. And Brent Hubbs, Austin Price, all of these guys, Adam Sparks, nobody that covers Tennessee credibly has said they expect Chaz Coleman to be a part of the proceedings. Like, he's just not a part of what they're doing. But yet still there's been no official statement of he's been dismissed or he's not going to play this year. Whole thing's been weird. And Eric Kane will join us coming up in the second hour at 11:20 to probably not give us any clarity on it because, no, it's not Eric's fault. I don't think anybody can give us true clarity on the situation right now. But at the very least, we'll follow back up with it. I mean, it's just been such an odd situation the whole time. And the thing that you brought up at the early onset of this, Robert, still holds space in my head as I think about this thing, that Jim Knowles, the new defensive coordinator at Tennessee, Anthony Poindexter, co-defensive coordinator at Tennessee, multiple guys on this coaching staff that were on the Penn State defensive coaching staff last year with Chaz Coleman on the team as a true freshman. And Chaz sat out a lot last year. He had concussion issues. He played a little bit. He flashed a little bit. Really, it's a ceiling conversation around Chaz Coleman, the edge rusher from Penn State. But it's clear there were no red flags at Penn State. Because if there were, then there's no way Jim Knowles and Anthony Poindexter would have signed off on Tennessee paying big money to bring in Chaz Coleman. The whole thing has been just so strange. So strange. 615-737-1045. When we come back, let's hear from Alontae Taylor. Speaking of Tennessee Vols, we haven't talked that much about him this offseason. We got a chance to hear from him last week at minicamp. We'll hear a few minutes from the new Titans Corner next.
been off, or you're just not feeling like you're used to, the Tennessee Men's Clinic, powered by Men's Pro, is here to help you because you're not alone. A lot of dudes deal with this. As you get up there in age, your body starts to change. And what you'll like about the Tennessee Men's Clinic is that they've been doing this for years. They're not just the newest fly-by-night place or sketchy online pill. You're working with true medical providers. They run labs and build a plan around you specifically, not some one-size-fits-all type of deal. They treat low performance, ED, weight loss, and even peptides like NAD+. Their treatments have worked for thousands of men, and most guys say they wish they would have come in sooner. Right now, your lab panel and consultation, just $99. So call today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
$10:58. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Another blockbuster trade today in the NBA as the Hornets are sending star guard LaMelo Ball to the Timberwolves along with Josh Reed in exchange for Naz Reid and a series of draft picks, including a 2033 unprotected first rounder and multiple pick swaps. LaMelo Ball will join up with Anthony Edwards in that Minnesota backcourt. More Tennessee Vols heard their names called last night in the NBA draft's second round. Jacoby Gillespie going 42 overall to the Spurs. Felix Okpara going 46 to the Wizards. The Nashville Predators made a big move Wednesday, sending former first-rounders Fedor Svechkov and Zachary LaRue to the Avalanche in exchange for Jack Drury and Chase Bradley, as well as a 2029 third rounder. New Preds GM Chris McFarland dealing with his former team in Colorado there. The Preds have the number 10 pick in the NHL draft that begins tomorrow. The U.S. men's national team will close out group stage play in the World Cup tonight against Turkey in Los Angeles. The U.S. has already clinched the group. Turkey is already eliminated, so it will have no bearing on the knockout rounds. Christian Pulisic said yesterday he expects to be available as he comes off a calf injury. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Second hour of the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Welcome back. Lucas and Bert with you until 1 o'clock. Cover 2 after that. Happy USA Game Day in the FIFA World Cup. Glad to have you with us as we broadcast live on 104.5 The Zone TV, where you can jump in. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. 615-737-1045 is the number. So we asked the question a couple of days ago, what was your favorite move of the Titans offseason? We got a lot of responses like Chad Brinker going out the door, the signing of John Franklin Myers, the drafting of Carnell Tate at number 4 overall, Brian Dable, a very common submission, Robert Saleh, of course, as the new head coach. One offseason move, Robert, that I feel like, I don't know if it's been under-discussed, but in what's been an incredibly busy transitional offseason for the Titans, I feel like we haven't talked that much since the news broke about the Alontae Taylor signing. Coming over, the free agent corner, obviously local guy, Coffee County High School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee Vol, to the NFL where he starts his career with the Saints and he gets his second contract, but he gets it here.
Would you say that this is the most polarizing free agent signing, not because of the player, but how he's going to be used? Because the discussion about him before was, oh, he's a slot player. He's a slot player. Yeah. But as soon as he got here, and every time Robert Saleh has had the opportunity to talk about him, he talks about him as an outside corner. Maybe you would argue Cardale Flott because of the lack of like long-term playing experience and what he was paid. But to me, I think Alontae Taylor is one of the more polarizing signings.
Yeah, he signs a 3-year, $60 million contract. Now, we have referenced many times on this show our buddy Jay, Theoryfully, on the F&M Bank chat. Now, you can attest to this. Jay, who is a diehard Saints fan, is a ball knower, yes?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
We trust Jay's opinion.
100%.
I was curious. I was picking his brain about the Alontae Taylor situation, and a lot of what Jay says echoes what a lot of people covering the Saints have said about Alontae Taylor, but this is what he said. I asked him, give me the overall verdict on Alontae Taylor's time in New Orleans. So I'll read you directly from the text. He said, lack of consistency, but with a high ceiling. The big part is the Saints just took too long to settle on his position. He started at nickel. He didn't want to play nickel. So in his second year, the Saints moved him outside, then moved him back inside in year 3. And then finally in year 4, he was with Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator, in that Derwin James nickel role, and it was his best season, playing that nickel corner role for the Saints. He said even in all of that, it was a little bit boomer bust. He said, I don't love that the Titans want to play him outside, but he clearly wants to play outside. So we'll see. That's his verdict on the Alontae Taylor situation, which I do think kind of sums up the Alontae Taylor experience in New Orleans, right? Over the last few years.
I would agree with that, and I also think it makes the most sense to at least try and play him outside first. If it doesn't work, it's not like he's going to be a totally overpaid nickel player if that's what he inevitably becomes. But they do have more options of people who could play in the nickel. Marcus Harris, obviously, is the guy who's penciled in there. But in different positions, you could if you wanted a big nickel, you could play Hooker down there. You could play Kevin Winston in that situation. You could go sub and play. There's a bunch of different ways you could slide someone into nickel. Outside corner is the infinitely more valuable position, especially given the depth that the Titans have. Because once you get past him and Cordell Flott and Joshua Williams, what's the cat's name from Kansas City? Was it Joshua Williams? I believe so.
I think, Josh Williams. I think
either way, it's a more valuable position for him to play outside. So it's kind of like a guy that you would take as a tackle in the draft. It's like, we're going to try to make it work at tackle first.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't make it work, we're just going to move him to guard. I think this is that situation. And if you're asking me, Robert Saleh is doing the right thing because corner is probably one of the most confidence-tied positions in the league. So you have your coach saying, no, he's an outside corner. That probably does something for your psyche, that the guy who brought you here backs you, the guy that paid you, he's going to let you do what you think you should be doing. They're putting him in a good position to succeed, and if it doesn't work out, there's still a way out of this to manage what success is.
Richie on the F&M Bank chat points out Roger McCreary's still out there. Is he a free agent?
He is. He's still out there. No. He's signed with the Lions.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He signed with the Lions.
I thought he got scooped up. Alontae Taylor's path was fascinating at Tennessee. It was one of the few good things that Jeremy Pruitt, for all of his flaws, Jeremy Pruitt, terrible head coach. But, and this is where he made his bones at Florida State, coaching Jalen Ramsey, a freshman Jalen Ramsey at Alabama with, you name it, right? Just a litany, a chain of elite defensive backs. Jeremy Pruitt came up as a defensive back guru as an assistant coach. So one of the few positive impacts Pruitt had as the head coach at Tennessee was recognizing that Alontae Taylor, who was coming out of high school as an athlete, was being recruited by a lot of places, including Tennessee, to play receiver. Butch Jones started to recruit Alontae Taylor as a wide receiver. But Jeremy Pruitt came in and said, no, you're a defensive back. And he started immediately as a freshman, and there were lows, right? Boom or bust, a good way to describe his early career for a transitional type of player. Played his best football late. His last year at Tennessee was Heupel's first year. That 2021 season, he sits out the Music City Bowl. He's drafted in the second round by the Saints. So Alontae Taylor got the chance to speak to Titans media last week at minicamp. We have not played that for you guys. We're kind of sprinkling in some of these throughout the course of this week. We'll hear from Keldrick Falk tomorrow, the first rounder out of Auburn. But let's hear from Alontae Taylor, who signed a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Titans in the offseason last week at Titans minicamp.
How you like, I guess, the competitiveness, on both sides throughout OTA and going into today?
It's great. We got a really good offense, young quarterback, a few veteran receivers, a few young receivers, everybody competing. I think secondary-wise, we're improving, we're getting better. We're facing a challenge every day.
Alontae, how do you view this week? Obviously, you guys have put a lot in over the last several times, but yet it's now training camp. What do you want to see this team get out of these couple days? Really, man, just finish. Being in the playbook, let's work on not having any mental errors, being where we're supposed to be, but most importantly, just competing. We go tomorrow, and then we got a long break. So I think throughout that time, you hone in on your craft, you work on things that you feel like you need to improve on. Ask your coaches, where they think that you should be better at, and you work on that in the off season. So right now, just work on the playbook and just compete.
How much of a sense you guys in the secondary have for the offense's option routes and what they're trying to do?
One more time.
How much of a sense you guys in the secondary have for the offense's option routes and what they're trying to do what they're trying to read?
Yeah, I feel like, as a secondary, you just win your leverage, react to everything else. Right now we got certain calls. You just got to do your job and then just compete. I feel like, some of us older guys, we kind of have a good idea and just kind of giving the younger guys a few tips to help them be a little quicker in certain directions.
How are you coming along as far as getting reacclimated to being out there on the island on the outside of it?
Yeah, every offseason I train as a corner. I always implement a few things as far as like nickel work. But I feel like I'm at home. I'm right where I want to be. And so, nothing new, nothing different. Like I said, I've been training as a corner this whole time throughout my career, so I'm very comfortable.
I saw you bump inside maybe 1 or 2 reps, as like a nickel. Is that something that...
Today?
No, throughout this process. There was one, I want to say a Tuesday in OTAs you did, but is that something that you asked to do, or is that something you would like to do, or you just kind of going with the program? How's that work?
Yeah, I feel like, I know what they want from me. I know where they want me to be, and that's an outside corner. And so, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm honing in on. Obviously, learning the whole playbook, right? So that I know where my help's at. I know where Marcus is. So, I'm a corner, and that's where they want me to be. So that's where I'm gonna be at.
What's your impression of some of the guys around you in the defense, and maybe just the culture in the building since you've been here?
Great group of guys, man. Our D-line's nasty. Our edges are dope. Our linebackers are very communicative. Very good competitors. Safeties are dope, man. I feel like we have a really good defense. I think Coach Salad's done a great job with bringing the right guys into the building, and I think it's just going to continue to get better as we build chemistry with one another, and we continue to compete with one another.
What's your early scout report on Tate, and just kind of what are the keys to trying to slow him down?
He's polished, man. For a rookie to come in, doing some of the things that he's doing is really, really exciting. I just continue to compete with him, continue to push him to, polish him in certain areas as well. Come Sundays, he's going to be very exciting to watch.
You said you feel at home out of the corner. What's the biggest challenge on the outside playing that position?
I think just being on an island. Some people speak differently. I think the inside is a little bit more difficult than being on the outside. Just so much space when you're in the slot. But on the outside, you have the sideline. And I think if you just went to your leverage and you just be patient, play the technique, you give yourself the best opportunity to be successful.
As a nickel convert, if you will, what do you think of Marcus from what you've seen of him so far?
Yeah, Marcus is doing good, man. A guy who's in the playbook, a guy who meets with his coach all the time, a young, promising player, a guy who owns in onto his position, and I'm super excited to work beside him. But just to love the fact that he's willing to learn, he's willing to listen.
Has been being back at home to feel settled in, and will you be here for the rest of the summer?
Yeah, super excited to be home. My fiance and my daughter, they finally moved in, and it's super exciting knowing that we can just go down the road to see my mom. I just bought her a home in Murfreesboro, and so it feels good. My family doesn't have to drive 7 hours to come see me play. I can just come up and down the road, so I love it. I'm glad to be back, and yeah, I'll be here throughout the summer.
Any big plans for 4th of July?
Yeah, so me, my fiance, a little bit of some of her family going to St. Thomas, enjoy a little getaway, and just kind of decompress a little bit and then come back and get ready to work.
Was the home for your mom a surprise, or is that something you've been wanting to do for a long time? How did that unfold?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it. Obviously could have done it in my rookie contract, but I wanted to get them something that I feel like they really loved. And so I just waited till this deal came through and moved on it pretty fast. They loved it. It was their dream home. They had no idea. And I think, being in this position, the most cool thing to do is get moms a home and be able to take care of your family.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alontae.
All right, there's Alontae Taylor. Very cool. Always love to hear that stuff. Okay. Alontae Taylor. What kind of, we'll do a mini expectation index for Alontae Taylor here, Robert. Alontae Taylor as an outside corner. I think it's fair to expect a little bit of boomer bust, right? Like, you're giving him a 3-year, $60 million contract. I don't think we expect Alontae Taylor to come in here and be one of the premier shutdown outside corners in the NFL, right? But as much consistency as you can get from him in 2026, because there are going to be moments for him playing outside in a full-time capacity, or at least that's what we expect for really the first time in his career, that he arrives somewhere and he's an outside corner.
The area I would like to see improve the most, Jay said that his 3rd year in the league, he was starting as their left outside corner. That was the highest missed tackle percentage of his career, and it really wasn't good until his final year in New Orleans. I would hope with him playing outside again, that's what creates those boom opportunities for the other team's offense, is when you miss the tackle on the outside, and then the safety has to come and get him 30 yards down the field. So a good season for him.
You said his 3rd year? That was his 3rd year in the league?
His 3rd year, he missed 18.3% of his tackle
Interesting.
attempts.
That was also his career high in tackles with 89 total.
So a lot more opportunities. So he was getting targeted probably a lot.
He had 4 sacks that year, which is a big number for a corner. And he had 7 tackles for loss, which tied a career high. He repeated that number in 2025, but no interceptions.
Also gave up 7 touchdowns in coverage. That's the highest mark of his career. That was in 2024. I guess a good season for him would be being healthy for 15-plus games, never relinquishing the outside corner spot, not having to be relegated to nickel while someone else steps in, not being a liability in coverage. I mean, being pretty consistent. I mean, and that's the name of the game with corners. Everyone likes to pick and be like, oh, they got burnt. I mean, their whole job is to make sure they don't get burnt. So I think if he can pull it together and just be a average to slightly above average outside corner, that is a win. That is a good season.
Jay says he's so good blitzing. He's a physical player, and you have to be, right, to play nickel corner in the NFL. But his numbers from that perspective are fascinating from that 2024 season. Mentioned 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles for Alontae Taylor. And again, 89 tackles. I feel like that's a reasonably high number for a cornerback with 18 missed tackles on top of that.
It is.
So seeing Robert Saleh get creative with Alontae Taylor could be interesting.
And there are opportunities for outside corners to blitz, but I feel like there's more opportunities for nickel cornerbacks.
But that's the season we're talking about, where he was a full-time outside corner in 2024. By far, his best numbers getting into the backfield and affecting the quarterback as a cornerback.
Also his best with pass deflection. So, I mean, interesting to see how it turns out. I think the tandem of him and Flott they'll be challenged early, but I think they will grow as the season goes on. But both of those guys not really super familiar with the Saleh system. Like we talk about all the people that got brought in by Robert Saleh who had familiarity with him, or people who had familiarity with Dable on the offensive side. Those are the 2 guys that don't really have the run-ins, right? So I think they will grow as the season goes on. Maybe have some growing pains initially, but you'd hope that they'd figured it out maybe through the quarter mark of the season.
And this isn't unique to the Titans. A lot of teams are this way, but you do feel perilously thin there, right? I mean, Cordell Flott missed a lot of the offseason program. Robert Saleh says he should be fine. Micah Robinson seems like a pleasant surprise during the offseason program. I saw an article, in fact, on ESPN where all 32 ESPN NFL Nation reporters had to give I'm trying to track it down, basically their biggest surprise players, standouts during the offseason program. And Tehran, who is obviously the ESPN reporter for the Titans, said Micah Robinson, the corner. He wrote, quote, Robinson took advantage of free agent additions, Cordell Flott and Alontae Taylor being out for most of OTAs. Robinson had early struggles guarding Carnell Tate, but he acquitted himself with sticky coverage that led to multiple pass breakups. The second-year corner had 2 interceptions, one of which was thrown by Cam Ward. The other one was on a goal line fade to Xavier Restrepo that ended minicamp. So Micah Robinson could be pretty important to the Titans' cornerback depth this year. A lot of teams are thin at corner, but Alontae Taylor and Cordell Flott, that's who it'll kind of revolve around in 2026 for the Titans at that spot. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We'll switch gears and do a little check-in on the Tennessee football offseason. And why in the world we don't know anything officially about Chaz Coleman's status with Tennessee with Eric Kane of VolQuest next. So yesterday, we got the chance to go do the show along with Ramon and Will and Cover 2 out at the the grand opening of Hattie B's in East Nashville on Gallatin Ave. And guys, this place is incredible. If you have not checked it out, if you didn't swing by yesterday, do yourself a favor and go swing by. You don't even have to be hungry, is the thing. If you want to watch the World Cup action, the U.S. men's national team tonight, head over to Hattie B's. Sit at the bar, post up, drink a cold beer. Of course, you can enjoy the best hot chicken in the world with those scratch-made sides. For me, it's the quarter bird, dark meat, hot, pimento mac and cheese, and southern greens. That's the order. Healthy options as well with those southern salads and the cornbread croutons, the banana pudding to top it all off. Make life easier on yourself and download the Hattie B's app today. Start to build up those rewards. And whether you are in Melrose, Midtown, West Nashville, Franklin, there is a Hattie B's near you. Maybe you got people in town. You want to take them to the Hattie B's on Broadway. I can't think of anything more Nashville than that. But go check it out, the new Hattie B's location on Gallatin Ave in East Nashville, and see for yourself what makes it so special at Hattie B's. So I came into this offseason very foolishly, kind of under this premise that, hey, there's no post-spring practice transfer portal. So good for Tennessee. You can avoid an offseason of drama, which was the case, obviously, last year with the Nico Imaliava stuff and pivoting to Joey Aguilar. But there's no post-spring transfer portal. Players can't leave. So thankfully, there will be a drama-free offseason. Silly of me to think that. Now, the dust has kind of settled on the Chaz Coleman thing. Nobody expects him to play for the Vols this year. We do have recruiting battles heating up for David Gabriel George. And Eric Kane of VolQuest joins us now on 104.5 The Zone. I'm not sure what you were bracing for this offseason, Eric, but obviously never a dull moment. Silly of me to think that we were going to just coast through talking about nothing but this quarterback battle.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment here on Rocky Top. Always something going on. This time last year, talking about a quarterback coming from the Sun Belt that had a cup of coffee at UCLA, and what's that going to look like after your starting quarterback that really kind of started this whole NIL conversation at the high school realm just quits your team on the last day of spring practice. And then you had the Chaz Coleman situation this offseason and all that, but still quarterback competition to talk about. And, a lot going on here before, I guess, fall camp starts here in the next 5-6 weeks.
Yes, and obviously want to set the table on where we're at in that discussion right now. But things have gone quiet on the Chaz Coleman front. And like I said, doesn't seem like there's any expectation that he plays for Tennessee this fall. But, Eric, why is there nothing official right now in your mind? Why has he not been officially dismissed? Is he still technically on this roster?
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I don't know why there's no finality to it right now. But, yes, technically he is still on this roster. But, yeah, what you said, I mean, I don't think there's any expectation that he's going to be a part of things moving forward. At least that's what the feel is now. I mean, can things change? I guess. But, I mean, he was, when the team reported back after Memorial Day, he was supposed to be there on that Wednesday when the players, I think, arrived Sunday night. He didn't show up until Friday. And I think the expectation for all parties involved is essentially that, that it's probably not going to be a part of things moving forward. But he is still technically on the roster. Maybe that's something happens, in terms of some finality whenever fall camp gets closer. And you field a roster out there and you get out on the practice field. I don't know, but he is technically still on the roster right now.
So what's happening on campus right now? Summer workouts still continuing on. And do you know if Chaz Coleman is still in Knoxville? And I assume he's still just not participating.
Last I heard, he was in Knoxville, just not participating. I mean, again, it's been a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure kind of where about his location is. I know that he did report, he did arrive in Knoxville earlier in the summer. He just wasn't going through team activities. So as far as the team, just, you got the workout schedule throughout the week, with new strength and conditioning coach Derek Owings and kind of, implementing that new structure. And of course, that's been going on for a semester now. And you've already seen some, proofs of the pudding and some, they put out the weight numbers and fats trimmed and muscles gained and all that. And that's all great. I mean, they're doing team activity, team bonding stuff. And, Derek Jones, Tennessee's new cornerbacks coach, is quick to post those on social media all the time. But it's kind of that grind here in the offseason where you're really just kind of head down, working. It's not the sexy part of the offseason. You're doing the installs, with your position groups and having some meetings and all that. And you get more time on the field that you've ever had in terms of not a true practice, but, for walkthroughs and stuff like that. So yeah, kind of the uneventful, kind of the boring time of the offseason, but it's all critical because, again, once fall camp gets here, you really hit the ground running, and it's a sprint to the start of the regular season.
Eric Kane of VolQuest with us at _Caners, where you can follow him on Twitter. He is keeping up more than anybody with Tennessee baseball transfer portal news. Be sure to follow along for all of the updates on that front. What can you say about the impact so far of Derek Owings, the strength coach? Josh Heupel had a previous relationship with him, brings him over from Indiana after a national title. How would you detail that impact in the first few months of the Derek Owings performance coach era at Tennessee?
I mean, so far so good. Now, again, whenever you talk to a player or anybody, no one's going to sit there and say, "Oh, it's terrible," or maybe they'll say it feels awful, it feels terrible, but it's good for you. But I mean, everything's great right now. You're in the honeymoon stage. I mean, I think that his resume and his work speaks for itself. Look what he did at Indiana. Look what he's done at his previous stops. Where I will be intrigued to see the difference, between the previous staff and of course Derek Owings, is how does Tennessee finish the season? There's a lot of contributing factors in there and all that, but at the end of the day, it looked like Tennessee kind of faded in the month of November. A lot of injuries, and sometimes, I mean, injuries are part of football. It is what it is, but strength training is a big part of injury prevention. It's a huge part of injury prevention. At the end of the day, I mean, guy tears his ACL, right? Like, it just, injuries happen. But how does Tennessee finish the season? How does Tennessee go throughout the course from game 1 to game 12, and then, of course, the bowl game or whatever comes after that? I think that'll be a good test and kind of, where Derek Owens is. And it's only going to get better from this year to year 2 to year 3, in my opinion. As far as the hired a dietitian, hired a new staff there. They're eating right. They're eating well. But you just look at the guys, they look different. And that's typically the time of the year where say, oh, that guy's put on 20 pounds of muscle. Oh, that guy's slimmed up. And, see these freshmen who step foot on campus for the first time as student athletes in January and see where they are by the time the end of July rolls around. It's pretty impressive. And you're kind of seeing that transformation right now. So I would say it was a good start. It's a really good start. I'm intrigued to see what this team looks like in November, to see, how good of an impact he has in year 1. And then again, like I said, I think it's just going to get better and better year 2 and year 3.
Yeah, Tennessee going to A&M in November, hosting LSU, going to Vanderbilt to close out the regular season. But there are also some fascinating tests early on for this team that, outside of the Georgia game, Eric, that wasn't really part of the discussion last year with what was a pretty favorable schedule for Tennessee in 2026. You host Texas before the end of September. Were you at all surprised that they slapped this game on the 11 a.m. despite Checker Nealand and a Manning coming back to Knoxville and all of those things?
I wasn't too shocked. The slate is there's a couple of good games on that day. Texas is going to come into Neyland Stadium, perceived to be the favorites. You got a well-rounded team. When you're looking at it from a national perspective, Texas is pretty well-rounded. Texas has got a better quarterback and all that, so they're going to be, you would assume, favored in this football game. So you can't have them all at night in Neyland. I get that. I don't think TV cares about what your game designation is, if it's Checker Neal or anything like that. I think it's unfortunate because it's one of the big home games on the schedule, and it's a fun one, and you haven't played Texas much in your history, obviously. This will be the first time they've ever met in the regular season. You have the Manning aspect coming into Neyland Stadium playing quarterback, first time in over 20 years or so, or almost 20 years. So I think that's, really neat and really cool. But overall, I don't think it's a shock. Tennessee did get some big wins, on that schedule release, in my opinion. South Carolina not going to Columbia at night. Tennessee doesn't play very well there at night. Getting a lot of flex options for Alabama and some of these other games on the schedule. But it is unfortunate, but, you got to play a new game every now and again, and that's going to be Tennessee's SEC opener.
Eli never played a game at Neyland, right? Did he even play Tennessee in his career at Ole Miss? Like, this will be the first Manning to play in Neyland since Peyton, right?
Yeah, I was saying since Peyton, so I guess my math is off there. I guess it would be, well, Peyton was here in 97. So, yeah, this will be the first Manning to my knowledge. I don't think Eli ever played in Neyland. So,
no, yeah, he did Manning not. He did not.
To play quarterback in Neyland Stadium, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Eric Kane with us of VolQuest.com. Arch Manning, I think we could say the highest profile, the highest ceiling quarterback Tennessee will face this year. So with Chaz Coleman seemingly out of the picture, how do you sum up the state of this pass rushing core right now and who Tennessee's going to have to lean on in 2026?
I got questions. I like where Tennessee is at linebacker. There's so many guys in that room that have experience and can play and probably start in other places. But, there's 5, 6, 7 options in one room. There's only 2 spots. I like the secondary. It's rebuilt and it's benefiting from the transfer portal. But I think some of these young sophomores that stuck around, and Idris Farouk, who's a rising junior, really balled out in spring. I like the depth of the secondary. We'll see how they perform out there on the field. As far as the front line, again, I got questions about the edge. If you stay healthy, Hobbs, Robinson, Gilliam coming over from Penn State. You hope that Ethan Utley and Isaiah Campbell have taken a step. I think J.J. Finch is a guy that can maybe help you at defensive tackle. I like the defensive tackle spot for Tennessee. Marion Dye has got to take a step on the edge. Jordan Norman, who you got from Tulane, has got to hit. He's got to hit. He's got to be a dude for you. Tyree Weathersby's got to take a big step. Some of these other freshmen that you invested in got to come in and play a lot on the edge. So will there be a situation where they have so many linebackers that in pass rushing situations, they bring one of those backers off the edge? Jaden Perlotti, I think, has got a ton of position flexibility. I think he's a guy that could play out in space or, rushing the quarterback off the line of scrimmage. So I'm intrigued to see kind of what all that looks like because, again, I do have more questions about the pass rush than I do about anything else in this new look defense.
It's so interesting, Eric, to look at this roster and see the talent profile of it. And it is high, right? It has steadily increased. It has steadily been raised in the Heupel era, and you're so much deeper in certain areas than you've been in the past. You mentioned the secondary. But arguably the 2 most important positions on the football field, and quarterback and edge are where you are at your most unproven. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. I mean, again, there's a lot of talent, especially at quarterback. I mean, like Georgia's got a ton of talent. Faison, again, he's a 5-star rated for a reason. So from it's just a lack of an experience, and what you haven't seen, you can't really believe. And that's, fair for local beat writers as well as national reporters who are, just doing content creation season and making rankings and all that. Like, I get it. So a lot of talent, just unproven at quarterback. And then again, edge. Tennessee's done such a great job since Heupel's been here recruiting the edge position. Now, the edge position is changing, and that's another question I've got. Like, what does this edge position look like for Jim Knowles? Typically, at his previous stops, he plays bigger guys, true defensive ends. Tennessee's Leos have been pretty much 245, 250 pounds, long, twitchy, speed rushers. I think over time, you'll see that position kind of evolve a little bit. That's why I think that maybe a Marion Dine and Tyree Weathersby could be out there playing the edge at the same time, one on one side, one on the other. So, I think that's fair. Arguably two of the most important building blocks of a football team and a program. A lot of questions at those two positions right now. But again, I think the talent's there, especially at quarterback. They just got to go out there and prove it.
Faison Brandon, it feels like, is almost being awarded the job if you read about him and where things are trending. How would you characterize where that is right now? Would you go as far as to say it's his job to lose? And what would have to happen for George McIntyre to kind of fully reinsert himself into that spot neck and neck with Faison?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, and that's not to say that he won't win the job. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that that's his job to lose. I mean, listen, they had spring practice months ago. They have been out there in a true practice-like setting in months, and we talk on the radio and talk on podcasting and talk behind a microphone every single day, and we got to talk about something. So I think that, it's just the anticipation. Now, on that note, again, like we've talked about before, man, like Faison hit the ground running, and like George had a lead because he'd been here before, right? I mean, he had been here for a year, knew the offense, knew the system and all that. His footwork was better. Again, he's been in the system for longer. I mean, Faison caught him by the end of spring practice. So if you continue on that trend, then that's why it's easy to kind of sit here and think like, man, Faison's kind of trending right now if he continues on this trajectory. So we'll have to see. Again, I think that he's got a very good shot, no doubt. Josh Heupel will have those guys scrimmage twice. He will want to have a quarterback named and announced, after that second scrimmage. And then you move into that final week of camp, which is usually a mock game week before the actual game week. So I think that there's a lot of anticipation. I do think that it's, neither one of those guys have locked down that job, but Faison, young, 5-star, and the way he finished spring, I feel like he's the trendy pick for a lot of people right now as, we're trying to take up time and all that behind microphones here in the radio setting.
Eric Kane of VolQuest is with us, helping us take up some time here in the month of June. I mean, look, it's been, honestly, like, we've had a great time this summer, Eric. I don't know how involved you guys are in East Tennessee on the day-to-day when it comes to the Knicks and the NBA Finals and the World Cup taking over. I am genuinely curious right now in Knoxville, how much is it still kind of coming back around to these topics, what we're doing now, versus all of the buzz across the country and the world with what's happening elsewhere?
I mean, on the local radio shows, they'll mention the finals, they'll mention the World Cup and all that because, again, it's so topical, right? And it is June, right? For me, in my personal setting, I was not huge into the NBA Finals. I watched a little bit. I love the troops. I love my country. I haven't watched 1 minute of the World Cup.
Come on.
just not me. But I mean, again, that's just not something that I'm into. But here in Knoxville, I mean, there's been watch parties and, people talking about everything. I do feel like it's more popular, those two topics, especially soccer, probably, elsewhere around the state and region than here in Knoxville. Because you know how it is here in Knoxville. It's all right. So when's SEC Media Days? When's the first day of fall camp? I mean, it's Faison George, that still dominates the conversation here, no doubt.
Get to a watch party tonight. See where it takes you. It is 10 p.m. Eastern, so maybe wait for the round of 32. But Eric Kane of VolQuest is with us. What'd you make of Ohio State swooping in to give David Gabriel George's buddy an offer there, JDD, as we've been calling him at Baylor School, and the chess move that was for Ohio State?
I mean, it's not like it's a bad move. Like, are you going to sit here and fault Ohio State for trying to get their guy? Like, I'm not saying Tennessee should do the same thing because everybody knows what it is. It's It's just another play to try to get David Gabriel Georges. And I'm not saying that's wrong. And I'm sure the young man who received the offer probably has a good understanding of what's going on here. But, hey, good for him. It's great publicity for him, and he can go and take part in an official visit if he wants to and go through that whole process and all that. And, if DGG ends up going to Ohio State, maybe he's at Ohio State with him. I don't know how all that'll play out. But I saw that, and I'm like, makes sense. I'm not saying that's a bad move at all. I'm also not saying that Tennessee would do that. Tennessee might, but I'm not saying Tennessee would do that also because it would look like Tennessee's playing copycat to what Ohio State did. Also, too, like if Ohio State is doing that, does it feel like they're trying to make up some ground? Maybe. I mean, you can be perceived that way, but ultimately I thought that was probably a decent little move. I mean, again, I'm not going to fault Ohio State from doing that.
If you just had to assign a leader in the clubhouse in this thing, and we're going to find out here in less than a month, do you lean anywhere when it comes to DGG's recruitment?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not Austin Price. I'm not Matt Ray. They do a fantastic job covering recruiting here for VolQuest. And, Austin's been maintaining his position the entire time that he thinks Tennessee's been, the leader, and Tennessee's been in this one the entire time. And obviously the momentum shifted Tennessee's way after the OV. Again, I would feel like, if I had to pick, who would be a leader right now, I think, perceived, in my opinion, Tennessee probably has a slight lead because his friends are here. He's comfortable here. Tennessee went all out in the official visits. I think he's comfortable with Darrell Sims. I think their personalities mesh really, really well. To be a 5-star top 10 player in the country and all that, DGG doesn't necessarily like the eyeballs on him and the spotlight on him. He just likes to kind of go to work, and that's very much Darrell Sims, Tennessee's running back coach. So I think that they kind of bond in that regard. But, I guess I would say Tennessee right now, again, I think the OV weekend a couple weekends ago they just knocked it out of the park, and they did exactly what they needed to do. And it doesn't hurt that he's got, 4 teammates already here on campus and a roster that he can kind of hang out with and all that. So we'll see what happens. July 22nd is when he's supposed to announce. I know he went ahead and canceled that Georgia OV. Ole Miss is not in this one. It is like it's always been. It's going to be a Tennessee-Ohio State battle, and I'm sure there'll be some more twists and turns before July 22nd gets here. That's for sure.
Okay, about a month from yesterday when we hear from DGG out of Baylor School. I was curious to hear your thoughts on this. I don't know if you saw Josh Pate, our guy. We love having Josh in studio. His studio is literally down the road from us. He put out his top 10 of SEC head coach rankings. And I'm not sure if this has been a topic with you guys, but he's got Josh Heupel at number 9, Eric, behind just going 6 through 10. He's got Clark Lee at 6, Eli Drinkwitz at 7, Venables at 8, then Heupel, followed by John Sumrall at 10. If you were putting together your top 10 right now, where do you think Heupel kind of lands? And for Tennessee fans, is that good enough going into 2026?
Yeah, I completely disagree with his rankings in terms of where Josh Heupel's positioned. Chris Lowe on 3 put out his rankings a couple of weeks ago, and I'm more inclined to he had Josh Heupel at 6. Josh Pate had Josh Heupel at 9. And I think it's much closer to 6 than 9th. And here's why. Pate had Eli Drinkwitz and Clark Lee in front of Josh Heupel. And, what a phenomenal job they both have done, right? Clark Lee winning at Vanderbilt is hard. Winning at Missouri consistently is hard. I think Eli Drinkwitz is a weird guy. I think he's a really good football coach, okay? But you look at this thing holistically, especially with Clark Lee, and then throw Brent Venables in there. Brent Venables just came off a college football playoff, and he was ahead of Josh Heupel and Josh Pate's rankings too. He's had 2 10-win seasons. He's also had 2 losing seasons. Josh Heupel's never had a losing season here at Tennessee. He's had 2 10-win seasons, a playoff berth, a New Year's Six bowl game victory, led the SEC in offense a couple different times. I thought 9th was criminally too low. So I would have Tennessee. I would have Josh Heupel up there probably. Yeah, I'd probably have him at 6th. And, if you want to take that next step and be contending for a national championship and all that, you probably need to break in the top 5. There's just a lot of guys who have, a lot more CFP appearances and won a whole lot more games, obviously with, Kirby and, some of these other guys up there. Kalen DeBoer is just, Alabama fans don't want to believe it, but he is just a winning football coach. He wins everywhere he goes. But I would have Josh Heupel there at about 6th and, hoping to break in that top 5 here this year.
How much weight does this season carry, do you think, when it comes to the general discussion around Heupel? Because it's an interesting place to be. Like normally, black and white, you look at going into this phase of the Heupel era, you would think, yeah, you want to be at a place where you are consistently contending to go to the college football playoff. And maybe Tennessee gets there this year. But for me, the context of this season is so important, Eric, in terms of the end of the year and where we are. Let's say Tennessee goes 8-4, but if there's a certain trajectory there at the quarterback position specifically, but there's also a scenario where Tennessee goes 8-4 and you don't feel great about that trajectory, and it could completely change the discussion. It's so hard for me to pinpoint expectations and how it relates to the pressure that will be on Heupel, just speaking from the fan base's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's important to remember, too, and I've been saying this a lot this offseason. Hey, I got news for everybody here. 8-4 is going to be the new 9-3. You're going to be 8-4, and you're going to say, oh, my gosh, pathetic. That's not the standard here at Tennessee, and then that's fine. But you have a 9th SEC game on the slate now. I mean, you have an extra, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, LSU, whoever, even, Auburn, Mississippi State, Arkansas, teams that can give you a run for its money. That's why the league is so, week in and week out. It's the toughest conference out there, in my opinion. So, there's going to be more losses, right? So, 8-4 is going to have a little bit different look, in my opinion, or it should over time than kind of what it does now. I think what you said is kind of where are you at the quarterback position, regardless of what the season is. If you're 8-4, but man, Faison and/or George just really came on there that month of November and finished strong and kind of propelled you into what's going to come in 2027 when, man, you should be retaining a lot of talent. Like if you do a good job holding on with roster retention, 2027's roster should be really, really good and experienced. Then I think that changes things to where if you're obviously 7-5 or you're 8-4 and you're kind of limping into the post. If you're 8-4, kind of limping into the postseason or whatever, and say you tried your hand at both quarterbacks or whatever, remember there's always the transfer portal as well. So it's going to be tough. The schedule's tough. You have a rookie quarterback, essentially a rookie quarterback, and we'll see a young quarterback. We'll see how that progresses and all that. But, with an extra game on that schedule, I still like what the offense is surrounding the quarterback with. 1,000-yard rusher. In my opinion, what should be the best offensive line Josh Heupel's had here is playing in front of that quarterback. And, you have 2 receivers who had over 800 yards receiving last year. There's a lot of talent there, and that defense is going to be statistically so much better than where you finished last year. I don't think nationally people are giving the rest of Tennessee's team the benefit of the doubt. They just say, they struck out with Sorsby. They struck out with Sam Levitt. They don't have a quarterback. It's going to be tough. Well, look at what surrounds that quarterback and tell me that's not a pretty good football team. I think that's where Tennessee kind of is right now.
Eric Kane of VolQuest has been our guest. He is all over the latest on Tennessee baseball's offseason. A lot of football work as well on VolQuest.com @_Caners, where you can follow him. Always appreciate the time, man. Good to catch up.
Hey, thank you so much.
Eric Kane with us on 104.5 The Zone. All right, let's build on that a little bit. Josh Pate's top 10 rankings of SEC head coaches. We'll tell you the rest of them. And where do you think Josh Heupel should rank? 615-737-1045. We'll do that next.
This is a different court, Blair. Same result, Slay. Okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no roof.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. Cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Right, and from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running down the stairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
So where would you rank Josh Heupel currently among SEC head coaches? Welcome back to the show. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We are fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Go check out their new location in East Nashville. You will be blown away. Talking to Eric Kane in the last segment, mentioned the Josh Pate top 10. Robert, you are the neutral here. You are the ACC truther and ECU graduate. So I feel like you are a good person to poll on this. Pate ranked Kirby Smart as his number one coach in the SEC. I don't think anybody can reasonably argue that. He had Kalen DeBoer at 2 and Steve Sarkisian at 3, which is interesting. Mike Elko at 4 and Lane Kiffin at 5.
He really likes Kalen DeBoer, though.
He does.
Like when Kalen DeBoer got hired, he was like, he is going to win a national championship at Alabama. He is going to carry it on. So it does not surprise me. He had him at 3.
2. Above Sark. Which I don't have a terribly big issue with.
No. I mean, and really when you're ranking head coaches, like, you're kind of splitting hairs anyway. So, I mean, there's probably 15 different orders of this thing that I wouldn't have an offense to.
That's your top 5, however you want to shake it. Like, Kirby's 1. There's no arguing that. DeBoer, Sark, Kiffin, and Elko. It's been such a small sample size with Elko, but what he's done in establishing that standard and that high talent profile already at Texas A&M, I think puts Mike Elko in the top 5 of SEC head coaches. So I have no issue with that top 5. Then he gets into 6 through 9. And to be fair, I listened to Josh's entire podcast, and he did say 6 through 9 of this ranking are almost interchangeable. But he has Clark Lee at 6, Eli Drinkwitz at 7, Brent Venables at 8, then Josh Heupel at 9, followed by John Summerall at 10 before his first year at Florida. So the discussion here is Josh Heupel closer to 6 or closer to 9? This is as summer topic as it gets, baby, on June 25th. When you look at Clark Lee, Eli Drinkwitz, and Brent Venables, they've all had either 1 or 2 double-digit win seasons. they have all at some point had losing seasons. So Heupel has either the same amount or more double-digit win seasons as all of those coaches, and he has 0 losing seasons, which all of those coaches have at some point in their current tenure. Lee, Drinkwitz, and Venables. Heupel has been to a college football playoff. Only Brent Venables, out of those other 3 coaches, has also been to a college football playoff. Neither have won a college football playoff game. Tennessee got dusted by Ohio State. Oklahoma blew a huge lead against Bama, 17-point lead, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's maybe semantics at this point, but the discussion, at least about Clark Lee, is degree of difficulty, right? To get Vanderbilt to a place where you're winning 10 games is more difficult than probably anything Heupel's done in one single season at Tennessee. I think that's a fair thing to say. But when you're talking about them in totality, Robert, where would you put Heupel? I would put him at 6. I agree with Eric Kane. Because the results on the field have to matter, and the results on the field, writ large for Heupel, have been better on aggregate than Lee, Drinkwitz, and Venables. Just laid it out. As many, if not more, double-digit win seasons, as many, if not more, college football playoff appearances.
And he's led two of those teams to being the highest-ranked team out of all of the other coaches in college football. In 2022, they were 6. In 2024, they were 8. Brent Venables has never had a team better than 10. Eli Drinkwitz has plateaued at 8.
Which is, at Missouri, again, an incredible accomplishment.
It is. But it was a really good team, too. If you go back to the draft of those years, how many guys from that team went on to be, even, Cody Schrader?
Oh, the running back.
Right. He was awesome.
What happened to him? He was fantastic.
I think he was on the 49ers practice squad for a little bit. I don't know where he's at now.
He's a Bronco.
Didn't he destroy Tennessee in that matchup?
Oh, he shredded Tennessee. He was awesome, man. And that, he was what school was it that Truman, the Truman Bulldogs. Has anybody heard of Truman, a D2 school that he transferred from? He's bounced around. He's on his 5th NFL team at this point.
He's just an undersized guy. Really good college running back, though. And Clark Lee, I hate to say it, it's going to tick Vanderbilt fans off, but I feel like it's a lot of recency bias. Okay, if you would have taken Pavia and landing him and getting in there, getting in and buying in and putting it all together means something. But also, if Pavia wasn't there, what would Clark Lee be? From 21 to now, 2-10, 5-7, 2-10, 7-6, 10-3.
Yeah,
he had one winning season. One winning season is not enough to put him over Heupel for me.
I guess, but I feel like you could play that game with Heupel too, though, right? If Hendon Hooker is not brought to Tennessee by Jeremy Pruitt, what's the Josh Heupel discussion?
Sure, but I feel like he has a larger resume of winning than just one season. As you mentioned, he hasn't had a losing season yet. 2 examples of a double-digit win season. I don't know. I agree with you. I think Heupel should be at 6. Maybe we should have paid in to debate this.
He's been busy storm chasing this summer. Big storm chasing summer for Payton.
Have you been able to? I'm just now realizing I am playing second fiddle to so many other men. You bring in Jamie Watson, handsome, rugged soccer player. He's in your favorite sport. And then Josh Pate. Oh, he's been busy this summer. That's why you had to go to Jamie. Oh, he's been storm chasing. Good for you, dude.
It's all in your head.
Congrats on the love.
You know what? You're acting crazy. Is what you're doing.
Oh, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. You want to see crazy? Let me call Josh Pate right now and let him know who else you're seeing. Oh, I'm going to bring what is it? John Tucker Must Die. It's about to be Lucas Panzica Must Fry. Dude, we are going to get you.
I never saw that movie.
It was like a high school girl.
It was in that She's the Man category.
There you go.
I did see She's the Man. I did not see John Tucker Must Die.
Is that the basketball game where the guy dresses up as a woman?
It's Amanda Bynes pretends to be a male soccer player.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Tatum.
Yes, I'm thinking of Joanna Man.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my. That's your homework for the weekend.
Joanna Man?
Yeah, let me you talk about something and I'll read you.
If you're going to give me movie homework for the weekend, it's got to wait until after July 18th, I'm afraid.
Okay, Joanna Man When a pro basketball star, Jamal Jeffries, gets booted out of the big leagues after an outrageous on-court stunt, his unwillingness to give up sports leads to desperate measures. Dressed in drag, Jamal calls himself Joanna Man and becomes a star player on a women's basketball team, helping them climb the ranks. He also quickly develops a crush on team captain Michelle, but cannot act on his feelings for fear of his true identity being discovered.
Okay.
You should check out Joanna Man.
Speaking of random bad basketball movies, have you ever seen the movie Rebound, the Martin Lawrence movie?
I thought you were going to say it was an Air Bud movie.
No. Martin Lawrence, it's like I want to say it's a kid's movie because I know I watched it as a kid, but I don't remember what it's rated or anything, where Martin Lawrence is this college basketball coach that gets banned from coaching college hoops because he has this crazy temper. And so he takes a middle school job to build back his reputation. It's got the kid that plays Beans in, what's the movie?
Even Stevens?
And Even Stevens?
Yeah.
He's on the team. I don't know why that just popped into my head. Random stuff. Okay, the U.S. men's national team plays tonight. Should they play their starters in a game that has no bearing on the knockout rounds? Curious to hear also how much this World Cup will impact people like Robert when it comes to the sport of soccer in general, with it taking over. We'll do that coming up next on 104.5 The Zone. So another World Cup match day is upon us. The United States takes on Turkey tonight in SoFi Stadium, a.k.a. Los Angeles Stadium, as FIFA is recognizing it during this month. And this game has absolutely no impact on the knockout round. The U.S., for the first time in its history, on the men's side at least, has won each of its first 2 group stage games. Turkey, who did come into this tournament with hopes to be a dark horse with a talented squad, is bounced after 2 games, 2 losses, 0 goals. They're going to go home to criticism, no doubt. And for them, it's about finishing strong and having some level of pride to close this thing out. For the United States, it's about rest versus rust, momentum, rhythm, however you want to put it. But this game, however you shake it, has absolutely no impact on what will happen in the round of 32. We also, Robert, know with almost 99% certainty that the United States will play Bosnia in the round of 32. So we celebrated Bosnia's incredible World Cup song yesterday, but I feel we can't play it anymore.
Ever again.
Yeah.
It will be deleted from my liked songs on Spotify.
Which is too bad because it is.
Maybe we'll revisit
awesome.
this in a couple weeks after the USA pulverizes them back into Herzegovina or whatever the hell they were before. But right now, I will not listen, and I will not enjoy it. So my question to you is, if this game means nothing, is this the equivalent of a Week 18 NFL game where, okay, so they don't really have to do anything? What's the protocol around sitting people? Like Christian Pulisic missed game 2. There's absolutely no reason to play him. Obviously, you would think he would sit and Gio Reyna would end up coming in his spot. But why would you not sub the entire team out? Is there enough backups on the team to do that? Do teams do that frequently? Like I need the full rundown.
You should expect a pretty rotated squad. You have 26 players with you at the World Cup. 3 of them are goalkeepers. So in terms of the outfield players, you've got 20 to work with. So technically, you would think 2 at each position, but, coaches can do it differently. This U.S. team has way more defenders than they have midfielders, which was a head-scratching move by Pochettino. They have hardly any midfield depth, so they can't really afford to just like-for-like swap out every position. Tyler Adams should not play today. Pivotal player for the U.S. in midfield. He's on a yellow card. If he were to pick up a yellow card today, he would be suspended in the round of 32 against Bosnia. Not worth the risk. Christian Roldan is another midfielder that would slot in there pretty seamlessly, but he's a little bit banged up right now. Not worth the risk. Christian Pulisic is coming off that calf injury that took him off at halftime against Paraguay. He missed the Australia game. We talked about it with Jamie earlier in the show. I would like to see Christian Pulisic get some run in this game, but if he doesn't play, that will have been like 3 weeks of him not participating. And you've seen both sides of the equation. Some folks saying, no, I want to see Christian get into a rhythm heading into the knockout rounds. Others saying, why? Why? Is he just going to forget how to play soccer? He's just going to completely fall out of shape. He can still participate in training every day. So I see both sides of it. I also kind of sit on, it's a World Cup. It happens every 4 years. The U.S. has never won all 3 games in the World Cup. And it's also about mentality a little bit for me, right? That killing edge. I do think that matters to keep that sort of the pedal down in that regard throughout the course of the tournament. And this isn't a Turkey team that is going to be the scrappy underdog that wants to frustrate you and kick you and foul you and just defend and attack in transition. I do think they want the ball. I do think they're going to play their stars. There's no reason whatsoever to bench them. So I'd like to see Christian Pulisic play a little bit with plenty of other rotation across the board. Where would you stand on it? Like if you applied this, let's say the Ravens, Week 18, you wouldn't want to see Lamar Jackson, I imagine.
But it would depend, because the situation you're talking about, if we're going into the playoffs and say Lamar hasn't played since Week 14, the division's wrapped up, but he's healthy now.
Right.
I might want him to get some snaps.
That's
I might want him to get back into the rhythm of what it's like to play against somebody.
Or if, let's say the Ravens have the 1 seed, so they're going to have that bye. Like if they've locked up the 1 seed heading into the regular season finale, you're weighing the same thing. Like, would you want Lamar to miss the regular season finale and the first round of the playoffs, and then suddenly it's 3 weeks of no football, and boom, you're thrown into the divisional round?
Yeah, I would probably... That would be really tough for me, though, because you could argue if Christian Pulisic goes down, that's probably we would be hampered heavily.
Yeah, the ceiling is obviously.
Once we go into like much harder competition, I would probably feel the same and would err on the side of caution with Lamar, but it would definitely be worth a conversation. And I believe you said, is Gio Reyna also injury prone?
Very, yeah. Gio, I think for this team is a sort of maverick off the bench in the second half, a difference maker off the bench.
So he's like Percy Harvin for the Seahawks that won the Super Bowl. Like, doesn't really play that much, but in the Super Bowl when he does, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, ready to rock.
Hopefully. That's what he was against Paraguay, for sure.
So you think there's a chance that he also gets sat down, just bubble wrap him in case of emergency?
Yeah, I don't know that he starts either.
Like, I would be super cautious with this because after Bosnia, if they somehow beat Bosnia, and you would move on, you would be going against like tough competition at that point. Like
pretty much.
All the Curaçaos and Ivory Coast and everybody would have been weeded out at that point, and you're going up against Portugal, Germany, Brazil, one of those superpowers.
It gets real if you move on from Bosnia. Yes.
Yeah, I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
Mauricio Pochettino did say he's not going to risk the 4 USA players that are currently on a yellow card. After the group stage, the yellow cards will be wiped away. So you can start with a clean slate. And for those who don't know, if you pick up a yellow card in one game and a yellow card in another game, you're suspended for the third game. But they've tweaked the rule in this World Cup that they can wipe the slate clean after the group stage. However, if you pick up a second yellow card in the third group stage game, you are suspended from the round of 32. But if you have one yellow card after the group stage, it's wiped clean going into the knockout rounds. Convoluted, I know.
Yeah, but that means we could, in that final game, you could really stick it in there, you know what I mean? Like, really give it to them.
Oh,
really,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, be rough on them. Everybody get a yellow card.
And it's designed so that you don't have these star players missing critical knockout round games, which has happened in previous World Cups. But Pochettino has already said Tyler Adams, the U.S. midfielder, Fuller and Balogun, who shined in each of the first 2 games, scored the 2 goals against Paraguay. He is on a yellow card. He will not play. Chris Richards, the U.S.'s best defender, and one of the leaders on this team, on a yellow card, won't play. And Anthony Robinson, the left wing back that's flying up and down the left side of the field for 90 minutes, is on a yellow. He won't play. Those are 4 pivotal starters that will not play tonight.
Okay, while the starters are out and while we will probably not see the top-level stars, give me a reason to watch this game, other than country and patriotic pride. Like, is it still going to be a fun game to watch, or are we going to be on a more even foot with Turkey, whatever the hell we're calling them?
Yeah, they were Turkey, and they told the world, no, we're Turkey. That's what you have to call us, Turkey. I think this is the most interesting test on paper because Paraguay and Australia, as we've talked about, and it'll be similar with Bosnia, have a similar profile in how they will play the U.S. Sit back, stay compact, defend, try to hit them on the break, right? Set pieces are big, corner kicks, free kick opportunities. Turkey's play style is they want the ball. They want to be expansive. They want to be the one imposing themselves in possession, but they've been awful in the first 2 games. They had most of the ball against Australia, but they got shredded in transition and couldn't take advantage of their opportunities. But I do think, in principle, it's a good test for the U.S. to face a team that is going to want the ball. The U.S. has not seen that yet. They've been the squad pinning teams deep with their possession. So I think it's an interesting test in that regard. And I want to see some of the depth that the U.S. may have to lean on. And Alejandro Zendejas, who's had a great season with Club America, huge club in Mexico, who Nashville eliminated from continental play this past season or a few months ago. Right? I want to see players like that. I want to see Ricardo Pepi get himself a goal and show some of that striker depth up top. And all eyes will be on whether or not Christian Pulisic plays. I'd be very surprised if he started this game. Very surprised. I bet we see some of Christian late in the second half. Because, again, it's just about keeping that mentality from Mauricio Pochettino, a mentality he has worked for a year and a half to build. And a chance to make some history and win all 3 group stage games for the first time in history before heading into the knockout rounds, keeping the level, keeping the vibes and the momentum high.
It's not enough. We're not done.
Not
we
enough.
want more. It's the Star Wars meme. We want more. We are hungry for success, and we will not sit by idly while the world tromps around our house and wins better than we can do. So you better be ready. USA is going to be ready. Bosnia better be ready because tonight, turkey is served, baby. Who's cutting the Who's cutting the bird?
Turkey's on the menu.
Who's cutting the bird?
What are we doing? Are we frying it? Are we roasting it?
My dad did something this last year with his turkey that I was not on board with. I thought when I heard it was a terrible idea. He boiled the turkey.
And?
It was really stinking good. He did like a low country boil where you add all your seasonings, everything into it. Oh, it was succulent. It was juicy, not a dry piece of meat in the bird. It was incredible.
I feel like everything your dad does on that end is incredible.
Our dads together would be the most redneck Italian. Like your dad would be making like arancini balls, and my dad would be like, "I got a racetrack cooker for this chicken. I got a whole flat of thighs over here cooking."
Your dad ain't watching the World Cup, is he?
Oh, not even close.
shot.
My dad doesn't watch any sports unless it's the hunting channel.
Right. Is there a hunting channel?
Oh, dude, and it is low key kind of electric. They'll be in like deer stands, tree stands, like whispering each other. Oh, look at this buck. Look at this buck.
Is there a play-by-play?
Oh, yeah. They'll be, I'm going to take a shot. The shot's probably at 300 meters.
It's like golf.
And you'll just hear like, pow! Lay down, and my
birds dispersing.
Yeah, my dad's like, got him. Sit him down.
It's like watching golf. It sounds like someone watching golf. That's incredible. Yeah. Do you think, because you are one of these people, like the moment the U.S. got going early in that Paraguay game, like you were locked in. I saw you after the game and you were peppering me with questions, and I love how captured you and so many other people have been by this moment. How much do you see yourself following soccer after this World Cup?
Oh, dude.
To any degree.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was going to buy FIFA and play it to learn all the other leagues. And when I tried to go like full on like deep dive mode on Wikipedia, I just got lost. It was almost uncomfortable how much information I would have to
What were you trying to find?
No, I was just like, okay, so just background. When I didn't really care about football until like my sophomore year of high school. I played Madden, got really into it, learned all the depth charts. I had an internship class where I basically went to the computer lab, and I would just click on Wikipedia page after Wikipedia page, reading on everyone. Like, go to Bart Scott, to Bart Starr, to Bart from Simpsons. Like, I would just read everything possible about it. So I tried to do that with FIFA, and I can't pronounce anybody's name. I don't have any like relevant knowledge to know like what any of it means like I did with football. Like it was just a lot. So I think the only thing that could really get me there is I have to play FIFA. I have to do 100 fantasy dynasty drafts where you redraft the entire league and find who I like and find midfielders and just find something to attach to, because otherwise this is going to be like Korean baseball for me in COVID. Like right. I was really into Korean baseball when there was nothing else going on, and now I couldn't tell you what the Longdong Tigers are up to.
And I think it's okay the way I see it for you is your mind you're not going to suddenly be a diehard soccer fan, but your mind may be more open to jumping in on moments like these, right? When the World Cup rolls around, or when the United States is playing, or big Nashville SC matches that I know you've been to. And I think that's going to be the case for a lot of people. There's no question. The profile of the sport, I do think, will be raised in this country, not to the level where it's suddenly next to basketball and football. Obviously, that doesn't work like that with the snap of a finger. But I'm so fascinated at what the lasting legacy of this World Cup is in the United States, because I was in here with 3HL the other day, and Dawn is like, well, I like soccer. And nobody has been more of a hater of soccer and draws.
Oh, yeah, with the ties. It's un-American.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. I'm genuinely fascinated at the lasting power that this competition will have. I also personally have this little fear that FIFA, by expanding this World Cup to 48 teams, that it may just be too much, right? Because it's 5.5 weeks of a tournament. I never wanted it to expand to 48. I thought 32 was the perfect number. FIFA's got to make their money. So my hope is that by the end of this thing, American fans aren't like, all right, well, that was fun, but that's enough soccer for a while, which will be the case for a lot of people, I'm sure.
I think it'll have to be like that, but I think what it will benefit is it will benefit American soccer, because I think that's the baby step, right? Like learning MLS, learning Nashville SC and their opponents, and who the big teams are, and the managers and the coaches. And I feel like once people learn the base knowledge, and I'm mostly talking for myself, Like, once I learned the base knowledge, then I could branch out to learn about Arsenal or I don't know. You say another European team. I can't name them. If you were like, gun to your head,
Yes, you can.
name 3 European soccer teams.
You could. You can name Manchester United.
Well, you just gave me that.
You can,
Tottenham.
You can name
the
Tottenham.
Hotspurs.
Yep. You can name Real Madrid. You can name Barcelona.
I wouldn't have named any of those. I would have just started saying cities in Europe.
But that is a good place to start in Major League Soccer. And what do we have in our backyard? The best team in Major League Soccer right now. Nashville spending this entire World Cup break at the top of the standings with legitimate stars in the league like Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge and Christian Espinoza. They play a fun style of soccer. Geodis Park is a rockin' atmosphere. And MLS can coast off this wave as much as anybody. And they'll continue to pour resources into player development. And hopefully there are more players that come to play in MLS in the prime of their careers. But that is a great place to start. And I think most American soccer fans do it by picking a Premier League team and finding a fan base and a team that they identify with and just following. And legions of American soccer fans have fallen in love with the sport that way. I fell in love with the sport via the World Cup. I love seeing other people be captured by it the way I was as a little kid. And that's what sprouted my love, not just for soccer, but for every sport. The World Cup was the foundation of everything. And I'm so interested to see that lasting impact for American fans that are just now jumping into this, even if it is just, okay, you know what? Let's go to some Nashville SC games. Watch the team a little bit more consistently with how good they are and exciting they are under BJ Callahan. And also, find yourself a Premier League team or a Spanish or Italian team that you identify with that plays a fun brand. Everybody, hey, jump on the AC Milan bandwagon with me. Christian Pulisic, that's his club.
Okay.
So
who's your coach?
They just hired him. His name is Ruben Amorim. He's a Portuguese coach that they just hired.
You got to spell that out.
Yeah, his former Manchester United coach.
What's his last name?
Amorim.
Don't love that.
Handsome fella.
He's got a long jaw. He's got a long jaw and a big forehead. Kind of looks like a can of Coke, like his head build. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to pledge myself to Nashville SC.
Yes.
I'm going to get into it, and then it can grow naturally.
There it is.
And we don't have enough time to talk about this here, but I do want to talk to you maybe tomorrow about the impact of having the World Cup here, and if there is a case study that could be done about host cities or host countries, and after the World Cup there, success happening in soccer in that country because of the popularity. Like, how many young kids are watching this going, oh, I want to do this, the 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of those, for sure.
So I wonder if this would be the impetus that would push U.S. soccer into the main frame of this, and we could say, hey, we're going to have a good team moving forward. Hopefully that's the case.
Starts with the children.
We are the world. We are the children. I don't know the rest of it. Let's get out of here.
Cam Ward, what are fair expectations for his second year? Coming up next. Okay, setting expectations for Cam Ward in his second season. We did this earlier this week with Jeffrey Simmons. We did it yesterday with Carnell Tate, along with Zach Lyons, who joined us for that segment. We do it today with Cam Ward. What constitutes a good or a great season for Cam? Now, this conversation is by nature a little reductive, right? Because we typically resort to a range of numbers. So it is peak off-season radio, yes. But we can also talk about it in the context of the areas we want to see Cam Ward improve, right? And those things go hand in hand, that improvement with the production. So I don't think it's a terribly bad thing to say that a good season for Cam Ward could look like X amount of yards, X amount of touchdowns, TD to interception ratio. It doesn't mean it's so black and white, right? But I think it's okay to have this exercise at this point in the offseason. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. You can also chime in on the F&M Bank chat on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. We are, of course, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So, Robert, to start this off, I want to throw out two examples of young quarterbacks and the leaps that they've made. Because I think a good season, if we're talking production, and this assumes health, right? Let's say 16 to 17 games played for Cam. A good season for Cam, production-wise, numbers-wise, looks somewhat similar to what we saw from Bryce Young last season. In his third year as the Panthers quarterback, when the Panthers won the division, a bad division, but won it nonetheless, and Bryce Young completed 63.6% of his passes for over 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a playoff berth where they lost to the Rams at home in the wild card round. Whereas a great season for Cam Ward, I think I put closer to what we saw from Caleb Williams' second-year leap, which was a lower completion percentage at 58%, but with 3,942 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Add 388 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. Bryce Young, for what it's worth, had 216 yards and 2 touchdowns last year rushing. Just in that neighborhood. I'm not saying to replicate those exact numbers, but is that at least a jumping off point to you?
Yeah, I think so. And just for clarity's sake, I wasn't even going to put a statistical number on what I thought Cam Ward could be because, again, it's a new offensive coordinator. It's a new system, a lot of new weapons, a lot of chemistry and gelling together is going to have to happen. I thought there were two sects of his game that if he improved, it would be a great season. Statistics, be damned. Mm-hmm. One of them has to do with statistics, but we can get to that in a moment. I'm trying to pull Tay Sherany. I mean,
that was on purpose.
It was not.
That wasn't on purpose?
I promise you. What's it? Shea Tierney.
Yeah, Shea Tierney, the quarterback's coach.
He had 3 really good answers on what I feel like one of the biggest aspects that Cam can work on, which was his accuracy. But he went on to say that accuracy can be misleading. It's not always about, this guy has 70% accuracy on his passes. Oh, he's a great accurate passer. The game script sometimes dictates dropping off. If you go look at the 28-3 comeback, all of that was on the back of James White, where Brady is just dumping it off. And his completion percentage probably looked awesome.
We saw that with Sony Michel in that era, too. Yep.
So he went on to say here, this is Shea Tierney on how much play calling can help in-game accuracy for Cam Ward.
You know, you're getting into a discussion, really, that's what type of play are you trying to, what's the intent of the play, right? So when we have play called, when Dave sends in a play, we know what we're trying to get done. Are we trying to take a shot? Are we trying to hit it downfield? Which is obviously when you're throwing it downfield, lower percentage, right? Is it intermediate? So are we trying to get a chunk? Or is it a short one where we're just trying to get the ball out of our hands and completing the ball to basically augment the run game? You know, like that's what you're trying to do with some of those. So does that help drive completion percentage up? Yes. That doesn't necessarily mean your accuracy is better because you're calling a high completion play, and now we're hitting 75% of our passes, and everybody thinks, oh, he's got 75%. He's accurate. That's not always the case. An accurate passer to me is somebody who can execute the intent of the play call and hit what we're trying to hit. And if we're hitting those spots that we're trying to hit based on the play call, that's an accurate passer. Completion percentage it lies a lot. Like I said, not to reference the past, but guys who have had less than 60% completion percentage in college have come into the NFL, and now all of a sudden they're completing 67% of their passes. Like, there's not just the accuracy plays into that, but what are they trying to do in the play call to get that up to?
So before I heard that answer, I would have said, okay, Cam Ward needs to fix two things. He needs to fix his pocket presence and his happy feet and holding the ball too long, which attributed to sacks. In fact, led to him leading the league in sacks taken. And he needs to fix his accuracy, 59.8% on the year. After hearing that, I think he still needs to work on the accuracy, but I think that the way Daboll's system is built, they're going to be able to give him options that it's not relying on him. Do you remember in the preseason game, Van Jefferson, he was screaming down the field, and the ball bounced off his fingertips, and everyone, at least not everyone, half of the people were like, "Oh, he should have caught that. That was an accurate ball." But in all reality, it wasn't. It didn't hit him in the hands. It didn't hit him where he needed to catch it. He had to make extra effort to even be close to catching it.
Again, two things can be true, right? You would like a receiver to make that play, and also the quarterback can provide a better ball.
So I would hope in those moments, those passes are more accurate, while also pairing that with easy throws, easy decisions, getting like the option routes that are so popular to talk about at minicamp, getting some dump offs to the backfield, getting Tony and Tajay working on some dump offs and some screens. Anything like that can kind of get him in rhythm, and he can work on the intermediate to deep passing accuracy. I feel like that would be a good season if we could see a marginal jump in that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Bustin' Diamond says a good season for Cam Ward is more wins. Yes. And there are numbers that obviously would point to a better season for Cam Ward. But it is hard to have the conversation that way, to say a good season for Cam Ward is 3,423 yards, right? Like, there's too much context around that. By the way, on that Shea Tierney audio, to hear him say, there are guys that come into the league, guys being Josh Allen.
Yes, so we know who you worked with.
Yes, which is okay. You worked with Josh Allen. Like, that's fair. You were a part of that development. Brian Daboll was a huge part of that development, which is a reason to be excited about this marriage between Brian Daboll and Cam Ward.
Josh Allen's completion percentage his first 2 years in the NFL. His rookie year, 52.8.
Yeah, that's rough.
That is dookie soup, as we say over here. His second year in the NFL, 58.8. Still not that great. Third year in the NFL, 69.2.
Isn't it fascinating to look at the rise, Allen's rise, just by the numbers? Because like you said, 52.8% up to 58.8%, up to 69% in year 3. That's a huge leap. In yards, his rookie year, where he only played 12 games, granted, but 2,074 yards, up to 3,089 yards, up to 4,544 yards
with
his third year.
37 touchdowns.
With 30 touchdowns, went from 10 to 20 to 37. He basically doubled his touchdown total every year in his first 3 years in the league, where since then he's been in that sort of 25 to 35 range. And interceptions, 12 his rookie year, 9 his second year, 10 his third year, but Josh Allen has dealt with, the interceptions and his play style. You take a lot of those lumps with the special stuff that he does.
He has not had a sub-double-digit win season since his rookie year in 2018.
Yeah.
The biggest stat for me is his rookie year success, his passing success rate, which is dictated on a successful pass gains at least 40% of the yards required on first down, 60% on second down, and 100% on third or fourth, yada, yada, yada. His freshman year, I do that too often. His rookie year in the NFL, 37.1. Awful statistic. His third year in the NFL, 56.5, which led the entire NFL in passing success rate. That's just a huge jump. And that's one of the things that you would argue is tougher to fix. Accuracy and vision and processing. But they were able to do it with Josh Allen. You hope they're able to do the same thing with Cam Ward.
Cam Ward's rookie year, completing 59.8% of his passes, played in all 17 games, although, as we know, he was injured very early in that regular season finale. he had 3,169 yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But the steady progress that accelerated in the month of December is what you want to see continue on into 2026. And if you get a massive year 2 leap, fantastic. What's the best example of a monumental year 2 leap for a quarterback in recent memory that you can think of? I mean, Caleb Williams.
I'm going to be a Ravens homer, but Lamar Jackson won the MVP in his second year in the NFL.
Yeah, Lamar's the answer. And Caleb had decent numbers his rookie year.
Well, and you could say Patrick, he sat year 1 behind Alex Smith, but still coming back the next year and being as dominant as he was.
Yeah. But before we talk about Cam Ward as this superstar Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, let's wait and see what that improvement looks like. And then hopefully going into year 3 of the Cam Ward era, that's where we can start to have those discussions. And if Cam Ward looks like an all-pro in his second year, fantastic. But in terms of laying down expectations for the number 1 overall pick, I do think we're just doing him a disservice to lay down the expectation that he needs to be your franchise quarterback playing at his highest level now. The reality for most guys is that it's a slow ascension, right? Josh Allen and Caleb Williams, it felt like Caleb Williams made a bigger leap than he did statistically last year. And maybe that's because of the moments. I mean, just superhero stuff for Caleb Williams last year for the Bears, because the numbers weren't worlds away from his rookie season to his second season. He actually regressed in completion percentage, went up about 400 yards and passing yards and 7 touchdowns. Interception numbers remained around the same, but it was the clutch stuff that made Caleb Williams really pop in his second year. But just a steady ascension, and there is a level of confidence right now with Titans fans that Cam Ward is in the right hands to help facilitate that with Brian Daboll and his staff. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. We'll go to the phones with Darren in Bowling Green up next. Hey, Darren.
What's up, guys? Love the show. I drive all day for a living, so you guys get me through my day. I wanted to weigh in on the completion percentage versus accuracy conversation. I'm curious to know, and this might be a Zach Lyons nerded out stat question, but if there's a correlation between higher completion percentage versus lower yards, to where teams know their quarterback's skill set and are framing the passing offense around the inability to maybe get it down the field or to throw some of those out routes, or so the more dump offs like he said about Tom Brady. I mean, some quarterbacks throw it 28 times a game to the tight ends and the running backs, and I'm wondering if there's a trend of lower yards per game versus higher completion percentage. And I'll hang up and listen to you guys.
Hey, thanks for the call, Darren.
I think the picture of that last year would be Tua, who Tyreek Hill got hurt. The offense was not nearly as explosive initially, and he had a really high accuracy completion percentage, around 67.7, but his yards per attempt were noticeably lower because a lot of it were screens, and they were trying to use the speed of H-hand to their effect. And it wasn't able to work as well. Other quarterbacks that kind of led in that stat with high passing completion but low yards per target, Geno Smith and Aaron Rodgers.
The crazy thing with that discussion is Drake May led the league in completion percentage. Dude played in all 17 games, completed 72% of his passes, and threw for 4,394 yards. That's 4th in the NFL last season.
He led the league in yards gained per pass attempt and adjusted yards gained per pass attempt and quarterback rating.
Yeah, 31 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Drake May was awesome last year. We understand the schedule, we get all that. But
he ran into the Matthew Stafford buzzsaw for the MVP conversation. In a normal year, he probably would have won the MVP and deserved to do so.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like nowadays MVP numbers for quarterbacks, the touchdowns are in the 40s, something ridiculous. But yes, no, you are right. I mean, the biggest obstacle to Drake May winning MVP was Matthew Stafford, without a doubt. 615-737-1045. Let's go back to the phones with Keith in Laverne. Hey, Keith.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Great.
Hey, I think a real successful year for Cam would be, and I don't think it has anything to do with the stats. Obviously, the stats will have a big part to do with this, but I think it's got to be wins and losses. And I think what we need to see from Cam is sustaining drives, taking the easy dump downs when he needs to, but being able to come back in the fourth quarter, show long drives, like he did at Miami, right? Where when he was at Miami in his year there, you always felt like they were going to come back and score. And so I think that will change the entire dynamic. That's what I see as a really successful year, is if we can change, these 3 and outs, got to stop. We got to go get points whenever we need them. And if we can get to that point by the second half of the year where it's translating to wins and losses, I think that's where it's a real successful year.
And thanks for the call, Keith.
I appreciate the call, but I also feel like that's the cop-out answer. Like, if you're distinguishing whether the success of the season and the growth of Cam Ward and the moving forward of this team, to say, it's strictly tied to wins and losses. I understand what he's saying, but I feel like we can get lost in the minutia of, okay, if they only win 5 games next season, but Cam shows great improvement, great pocket presence. He doesn't lead the league in sacks. He assists his offensive line in knocking that number down. He's more accurate. He has poise. But they only win 5 games. I still feel like that's a great season.
What would you rather have, right, in year 2 for Cam Ward? Those clutch moments that maybe win you a couple extra games, or a more consistent operation over 17 games?
In a perfect world, you'd have both.
Sure.
But if you have to choose, I would just want to see continued growth and to have something, see the return on investment on faith on him. You know what I mean? And believing in that he can be a franchise quarterback. Yeah. This time next year, I want to say yes. Unequivocally, Cam Ward is the franchise quarterback. A question that we can't really say yes or no to right now. He's shown a lot, and he still has a lot to show.
Agreed. That trailer came out yesterday for the quarterback series that Cam will be a part of.
Oh, I saw it, but I didn't actually listen to it.
Yeah, the only real Cam clips in there were, talking about the opportunity and playing at the highest level. A lot of fishing clips, and the clip of him after Cleveland saying, that we should expect to win. We shouldn't be celebrating in here.
Speaking of trailers that dropped yesterday, the new Tom Cruise movie.
It looks awesome.
He looks unrecognizable.
Yeah.
It's called Digger, and a 64-year-old Tom Cruise undergoes a drastic transformation. He sports white hair, cowboy gear, and a bit of a belly to play Digger Rockwell, the most, quote, the most powerful man in the world, who attempts to save humanity after his company triggers a global catastrophe. The trailer dropped yesterday, and I was all the way in.
Dude, it looks awesome.
It is almost like I compared it when I was talking to Greg yesterday. Do you remember who played the former vice president that shot the guy on the hunting accident?
Oh, Christian Bale.
Oh, and
he was amazing.
What was he called? Vice?
Vice.
Oh,
it was good.
This feels like that times 2. This feels like that on steroids.
Is he working his way into being the GOAT of actors / movie makers? Tom Cruise?
I think he was already.
You think so?
It would be him,
Mel Gibson,
Ben Affleck, Ron Howard.
Yeah, but in terms of like the double threat, starring and movie making.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe the Jordan Peele. I would put him in that too.
Yeah, but his only real acting has come in Key and Peele, right? For the most part,
he's been in funny-ish parts, but I wouldn't. Tom Cruise is in
terms of blockbusters,
the upper echelon. Yes.
615-737-1045. Last call for phone calls. We'll wrap up the show. Coming up next. Aaron on the FNM Bank chat says, don't you dare sleep on Sylvester Stallone, an all-time blockbuster stars / movie makers. I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore for sure.
No, only 4 people can be on the Mount Rushmore.
Of, like Jordan Peele, absolutely. But I'm talking about blockbuster leads in the vein of Tom Cruise and Mel Gibson. You don't think Sly Stallone is up there?
Call me whatever you want to call me. I would put Arnold on there before I put Sly.
Oh, yeah. But was Arnold directing stuff?
I don't know.
Right, like I'm talking about
what did Sylvester Stallone direct? Like
Rocky.
what am I missing here?
He literally
directed that. He directed Rocky.
Wrote it. Sylvester Stallone made Rocky like from scratch.
I don't believe you.
Nobody wanted it, and he wouldn't sell it to anybody because he wanted to be Rocky.
He did not direct it. It was directed by Jordan G. Avidson.
Okay, but he wrote it. Like it's his.
Okay,
script.
so
it's his
are
movie.
we doing writers or are
sure.
we doing
movie makers?
Oh, okay.
I think Sly, Tom Cruise, and Mel Gibson have to be 3 of the 4 on Mount Rushmore.
All right, hold on. I don't like being unprepared coming into conversations. I don't really have an argument for you, but I feel like there would be people who would subvert Sly to relegation. I mean, Ron Howard is one of them.
He's not a blockbuster lead, though, a star. Ron Howard
Have you seen the Andy Griffith Show?
He was a child.
Oh! Now we're going to diminish what someone does just because they're a child.
It was a television show.
All of you children out there, don't aspire. Don't aspire to. It was a children's show.
It was a television show.
Oh, okay, he was on Happy Days too. He was a grown ass man for that.
I'm talking about starring in blockbuster motion pictures, a la Terminator and Mission Impossible and Rocky and Braveheart.
What about Denzel then?
Okay. Does Denzel is he like a movie maker?
I feel like directing is such a goofy position. It's like, oh, we let so and so direct this. It's like, okay, really, what did they do? Say action? That was it? Is Sly over there being like, oh no, you go punch it like this? No, he's not.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, boom. I'm telling you.
That's your Mount Rushmore. That's it.
No, Sly is not on the Mount Rushmore.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. He's not.
Maybe we swap him out for
I gotta answer
Ben
these. I
Affleck.
gotta answer these phones. I gotta do my job.
Right,
you keep talking.
Clint Eastwood, of course. How could we forget Clint Eastwood? My God. 615-737-1045. A few minutes left if you want to chime in on that conversation or continue the Cam Ward conversation. Ryan in Bellevue's next. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Great.
Hey, I thought with the Cam Ward discussion, it's not about stats. It's not necessarily about the wins and losses. It's about someone that the fans can actually take pride in having in their quarterback as a leader. Like you guys have said before, someone can have a great game with stats and lose. Someone can have terrible stats and win. It's all about the guy who's going to lead the team and someone that actually gives the fans someone that they're proud to cheer for, represent. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Love the show. Thanks.
Sure. I mean, thanks for the call, Ryan. I mean, those things have to go hand in hand, right? Titans fans adored Marcus Mariota, and for good reason. Marcus, unbelievably likable guy, incredible human being, extremely talented player. But for all of the reasons that there's no need to get into now, Marcus couldn't put it together as the franchise quarterback of this team. So, yes, Ryan, 100%. But those things have got to go hand in hand.
Someone has already done the dirty work on this on IMDb.
Okay.
They put together the best actor, director / writers.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
It is the caveat of a list of people who I feel were not only very good directors with a very distinct style, but also were very good actors with distinct talent. In no particular order, even though they are ranked. Sylvester Stallone, not on the list.
Okay.
Here are the first 10 mentioned. The names will stick out to you. Orson Welles.
Okay.
War of the Worlds. Right?
Yep.
Citizen Kane, obviously. Yep. Rosebud, Call Me Ishmael. I don't know, that's Moby Dick. But Charlie Chaplin, the silent films.
Sure.
Where it's a whole bunch of yuck stuff.
Yeah.
John Cassavetes, that's Rosemary's Baby, which is a great movie, but I would not put him at the upper echelon of this. Clint Eastwood comes in at 4.
Yeah,
Buster Keaton. That's not doing it for you?
No.
Woody Allen.
Like, these guys could be actors. But I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Hollywood.
Okay, IMDb is
A-list
wrong.
actors.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel Brooks is on the Mount Rushmore.
absolutely.
And Sylvester Stallone is not.
Mel Gibson on there, right?
Billy Bob Thornton is on this list.
Oh, okay. Love that.
Robert Duvall is on this list.
Oh, man. Okay. A lot of those guys.
Sean Penn is on this list.
damn.
George Clooney is on this list. Mel Gibson is on this list.
Has to be.
You know who Sidney Pollack is?
No.
Yeah, me either. But he says he's produced over 40 films. Alan Alda from MASH. But all the old people are probably getting so mad. They're like, yeah, it's this guy. It's this guy.
DM Wizard on the FNM Bank chat says, just give us a shout for Ben Stiller, which is a good shout.
Yes, that is a great shout.
Like filmmaker, creator / actor. It's a fantastic shout. All right, good stuff. If we had done the polls today, they would have been presented by Two Rivers Ford. Hope to see a lot of you guys out at Geodis Park tonight. Another soccer celebration. The United States taking on Turkey to close out the group stage. Already locked into the round of 32, but a chance to make some history here and win all 3 group stage games for the first time in U.S. men's national team history. Would love to see you guys. Was a great party against Paraguay, and we'll be back at it for that round of 32 match next Wednesday. So a little less than a week. Hope you guys are out there for that game, likely against Bosnia as well. Robert, there were no aliens yesterday.
I was upset about this. I was watching, waiting, hoping, praying that the aliens would come down and take players, officials, fans like the Brazilian psychic. And I'm coming to learn something. Coming to learn something about your people.
Oh.
You guys really like to, bend the truth and lie to people about how you feel about them, how much you care, how much you like working with them. Oh, and also if aliens are going to abduct Brazilians in Miami.
Yes, a Brazilian psychic predicted that aliens would descend upon Miami and abduct multiple players. Like Neymar was named, Vinny Jr. was named, referees during that game against Scotland. No, instead what happened was William Wallace could not save Scotland yesterday, and they were thrashed. 3-0.
That's tough. I mean, respect to the aliens, because if I was going to abduct anyone, I would abduct the Brazilian women. Like, yes. What makes you tick?
Right.
What makes you feel this way?
We end on the note of Robert talking about abducting women. So let's close out the show.
No, that's
Appreciate you guys hanging out. If we had done the polls, they would have been brought to you by Two Rivers Ford.
I'm gonna get fired. I wasn't saying abduct.
Oh, we still got time, don't we?
It was like aliens. Yeah, we can just play the music behind us.
Play music for a couple minutes.
No.
I did feel bad for the Tartan Army having to go home sad. Because Scotland has just been so lovable in this whole thing, drinking multiple cities dry. Literally, what were the bars in Boston saying? That they tripled their St. Patrick's Day sales from Scottish fans? St. Patrick's Day in Boston. Literally, drink the city dry. But who told us this yesterday? Was it Zach that told us that the Scottish fans, despite all of the millions of gallons of beer that they're drinking, they refuse to drink Bud Light? That's the one beer they won't drink.
We're not drinking that swill.
They're crushing the Guinness and the Mick Ultra and the Miller Lite. They will not drink the Bud Light.
They're like, do you have any Steel Reserve? Nope, just Bud Light. All right, now I can play the music.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Cover 2 is coming up next. Hope to see you tonight at Geodis Park. See y'all.